suppose we'll start off with like Dark Anor Londo.
See, like this is something I actually can like just sort of sit and listen to, because I only saw videos of this. I never actually did it.
I didn't do it on my first playthrough because I didn't know about it, and then I did it on my second playthrough just to see what it was like. Really, not because I thought, you know, it would be a good thing to do, just to see what's going on with Dark Anor Londo. It's really interesting, actually. It takes the challenge out of Anor Londo because you don't have the big guys anymore. There's the two sort of dark moons, so you have to fight as you come out of Guinevere's chamber.
Plus the Firekeeper.
And the Firekeeper. And it's got that weird thing where then if you die, you always respawn at the Firekeeper's bonfire, which is a little annoying, especially if you go to fight Gwendolyn. Yeah. But all in all, it makes the challenge a bit easier because most of the enemies just disappear.
I don't know what that happens. Like, that never happens when you fuck with other Firekeepers.
I don't know either. Strange.
Well, I mean, all right. So lore reasons why. I mean, it would be like there's something about the projection of Guinevere that is somehow keeping the place kind of in order.
Yeah, it could be that the other bonfires are maybe illusory, like they're not actually there, but then it wouldn't make sense that you could light them.
Well, is it Guinevere holding it up, or is it just like when you kill her, Gwendolyn is like, okay, the jig is up. Might as well drop it. Might as well drop the act.
I've been rumbled.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's not that she's literally like the magic of her being projected is holding it up, but like in a sense of like all the monsters here and the other people here think that, oh yeah, no, I'm only here and doing this because Guinevere is here.
Yeah, it could be they all just leave. They're like, well, okay, got nothing to look after actually anymore. Let's just go home.
Yeah, no, let's all just go crazy.
They all just go down into the city. They're like, oh, may as well
they all go down into New Londo and just hollow.
Gwendolyn's room in Gwyn's tomb can be accessed without killing Guinevere, but you have to go to the Catacombs and pick up, what is it, Dark Moon Seance Ring. It's really hard to find because the Catacombs are confusing. So, if you're gonna fight Gwendolyn, it's usually gonna be like this.
Yeah. And he's tough.
Yeah, it's a real interesting boss, I think. Like
it's kind of like a bullet hell almost, the way he fires stuff at you. And some of his attacks won't hit the pillars, and like some of them will just break on the pillars. Others will just like shoot like a laser through the pillars, and it's like, oh dear. And yeah, I found it really tough. It was like the last fight I did before fighting Gwyn, I think, because I was just like, well, I should be strong enough to come back and beat him now. But
yeah, this can be rough even if you fight him after Ornstein and Smell. Dark Souls difficulty curve is like, it's kind of a mountain you climb up towards Ornstein and Smell, and then it gets kinda a little easier.
I don't know. Like the DLC gave me like a run for my money.
Yeah, the DLC doesn't count in my projection here, but there's a real cool, like, since he's an illusionist, there's this, like, endless corridor effect.
Oh, yeah, no, that was a really cool element about that. And also, like, so I never, again, I never personally did, like, the like, Anor Londo, like, dark mode thing. Like, I actually just found the fucking thing, in the Catacombs. And, yeah, no, like, Gwyn's tomb itself is it's kind of just cool that they have that there. Like again, like from a lore perspective, it's like, okay, he's not here, but we all kind of knew that he died, and so we recently built this kind of this sort of tomb, like this. It's more of like a monument to Gwyn, really.
Yeah, the grave's empty.
Yeah, and then there's just a few chests around. One of the chests was open for me. I could open 2 of the chests, and then one of them was already open, I think.
There are a few open chests in all Dark Souls games. I don't know what's the point. Anyway, darkening Anor Londo, so it puts you out so that the Dark Moon invaders can get to you, but I've never had that happen, probably because I played the game so late.
I think I had one. Yeah. I had someone invade me in Anor Londo once when I was playing the first time round, but they can't have been a Dark Moon because I hadn't actually made it dark. But it might have been an NPC invader.
I think if you have Sin, you get Sin by invading people or by killing NPCs. Killing Priscilla.
Yeah, I might have got it from something like that. Might have sinned. I think I broke my covenant with the forest guys, Alvina's covenant, so that might have counted as a sin. I think that may be where I sinned.
It's one of those things where, like, I gotta give Dark Souls 2 kind of credit for this, like, where the multiplayer elements just, like, okay, you had, like, kind of a cool premise, but it doesn't necessarily kind of, like, work out so much in practice.
Yeah, there's a lot of covenants, most of them are geared up towards sort of multiplayer, either invasions or co-op.
Well, no, like all the covenants aside from like the chaos, are all purely just like multiplayer things. Like Way of White is purely, it's like, here's the newbie covenant. If you want to just be in the friendly people who just help people covenant, this is for you.
Yeah, but some of them are oddly specific towards like how you get invaded, like the dragon covenant as well, where
the dragon one's
have like a dragon scale on you, and then they'll come and take it.
It's like, it's like a dueling thing, and we're just dueling over the, like, this weapon upgrade.
There's a bonus level here, but to get to it, you gotta go back to the Undead Asylum, which you have to do in a really roundabout way that you'll probably be looking up a guide for.
Oh, yeah, all right. So this was... Alright, this showed up in one of those Dark Souls videos where it's just like, okay, what's not so good about Dark Souls? Here's 2 YouTube people who you don't know who they are, but they have high production value, and one guy's like, it's like, this game is just too obtuse because one of the most important items in the game, the rusted iron ring, you have no way of knowing how to get it. It's like, you can fucking beat Dark Souls without the goddamn rusted iron ring. But getting back to Undead Asylum is completely fucking weird, but it's still it's a cool little thing that they added.
And the cutscene is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, turn yourself into an egg.
You curl up into an egg, the bird comes and takes you away, and it just zooms in and like
face.
It just zooms in on your guy in the bird's claws, still curled up, looking terrified.
Yeah.
How did you even know to curl up like an egg? How does your undead know?
Yeah, why is that your first instinct? But
I find getting
intense sexual imagery. No.
I always put down a message here saying try comfort.
Yeah.
I find this and the hollow that leads down to the Ash Lake. These are two instances where I think about that kid in the playground who's like, oh yeah, my dad works at Nintendo and he says if you do this and this and this, then you can get Mew, and it's under a truck in Pokemon Yellow if you like surf at the SSN. It's like, it is that kid. It's, well, you know that painting? What you got to do is go all the way back to Firelink Shrine, and then you got to climb to the top of the tower by doing a weird platforming sort of jumpy section.
That this game is not fucking made for at all.
Yeah, this game is not made for at all. After like riding the lift halfway up towards the Undead Parish, and then you got to curl up in a ball, and a crow will come and take you back, and then you got to fight the demon who was your jailer. But it's not actually him; it's his brother, and he's locked in the basement.
But at the same time, I mean, it's really fucking weird and hard to get to. But I'm fine with games having secrets, and I think it's actually really cool that the secrets, the 2 big secrets in this game are so impressive. Like it's like the going back to Undead Asylum. Like it's kind of cool. You fight like the hollow version of Oscar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He did tell you I'll die soon and lose my sanity. So
yeah.
Yeah, he's like, get out of here before I turn hollow.
And then you can ask yourself, why are there Black Knights here? You know,
I'm thinking they're investigating the breakout because one of them is right by your cell.
Yeah.
Which implies that that would imply that there's still some sort of organization going on.
Well, and that you can kind of infer that from Anor Londo going dark too. Like a bunch of the enemies leave because it's like, well, there's nothing here to guard anymore.
Yeah.
Like we're purely here because you know we're like a lot of the people who are starting to go hollow. Like we're clearly here because we're clinging on to some kind of purpose that we had in life.
Gwendolyn seems like he is the person in charge now. I imagine he has people under his command.
He's the only remaining deity in Anor Londo.
Yeah, it reminds me of Fallout 2. There still is a U.S. government. It just hangs out in a little base and doesn't do much.
It's just like a vestigial thing, and it's.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Sorry, I got caught up in shit.
We're talking about ruling over things that are, but you're just kind of doing so in a vestigial, sort of futile kind of way.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, Gwendolyn is in charge, but
Gwendolyn is nominally in charge.
One thing
he's not really in charge.
We didn't.
He's nominally in charge.
With Gwendolyn is Gwendolyn's appearance. He's got a lot of tentacles. Who deals in tentacles?
I suspect
scaleless.
He has snakes, which I wouldn't put as tentacles necessarily.
Yeah.
They have the snake markings on them too, but yeah, no, like fucking with Gwendolyn shit and making Anor Londo dark does kind of feel just like going up to some kid's sandcastle and
knocking it
over. Yeah, because it's like you're gaining nothing by doing this. Why?
Because I can.
Yeah, I did pretty much do it on my second run through just because I could. I wanted to fight Gwendolyn.
Anyway, going back to the Undead Asylum, you're probably gonna get hit with a pretty bullshit trap. It just fall to the floor with the stranger.
Yay!
Absolutely bullshit.
In fairness, it's not fair at all. You can see it, because you can kind of put two and two together, because as with all the bosses, you can see it before you fight it. You can see Stray Demon from your cell at the beginning of the game.
At the start of the game, you can see it near your cells.
Well, you would assume that that's the Asylum Demon.
The floor, I came back and looked at this because I was like, I know the floor collapses, but does the floor give any hint that it will collapse? It does not.
Well,
it does not.
It's where the Asylum Demon dropped down the first time.
I guess that's their kind of excuse, isn't it?
But they also had the bonfire right there.
There was no, because if you want to get to the bonfire,
you have to go through that room.
You have to go through that room on the way back.
And you're probably not going to go for sides.
It is some proper fucking bullshit, right there. It is some proper fucking bullshit.
It's one of the times where you have to take fall damage to fight the boss.
Yeah, when I fought this one, I had a big issue with it because I was mostly a melee build. I was like a pyromancer melee guy hybrid, and I don't think my pyromancy was too good when I went back to fight him yet. And I managed to lock him in a state where all he would do is do the butt slam. I stood behind him with my big shield up and then hit him in the ass repeatedly till he died.
That's always fun.
Yeah, he's got so much health. It's pretty annoying.
Yeah.
This is
not as annoying, I feel like, as the third time you fucking fight him.
Yeah, this is the one that is reused 3 times throughout the game because you've got to fight the Demon Fire Sage as well. He's a bit different because he's got more fiery attacks, but they're very similar fights. So it feels a bit like a cop-out.
Anyway, grabbing the doll from your cell, which is there now but not last time, which is strange.
Someone left it there.
You can go back to the cathedral and fucking
Mario 64.
Hopefully not get surrounded by the 10 painting guardians that are there. You'll also find you'll find Black Iron Targus' armor here. This is where he fell to his death in the cathedral.
Yes, you do. Yeah, in the cathedral. Yeah.
Poor guy.
And the shit ton of painting guardians who really don't like you.
who will still be there,
Who will always be there.
Because, they're not protecting Anor Londo itself.
Yeah. They're protecting the painting.
Yeah. Are they protecting the painting, or are they trying to make sure that what inside doesn't get out?
I mean, that's kind of the same thing.
Priscilla wants to stay there, though, doesn't she? So
She seems to, yeah.
I think they're protecting her.
They want to stop others from going in there, because they could maybe take something that was banned back out with them, because this is like a prison plane.
Yeah, it's a prison plane, but at the same time, like what Priscilla says about that place, it's like, no, it's cold and it's dark, and we just want to be left alone. Here is there's kind of a meta thing, because this was something that wasn't this level like kind of like a demo level or like sort of a proof of concept.
I believe it was the first level they designed for Dark Souls.
Yeah. And they just like had nowhere to put it in the game, and so it itself is kind of rejected.
Yeah, it's nice
like there's
as a self-contained thing, in the same way that the Undead Asylum is, that you've got just a map, you can explore it, you don't really need to do anything in it, you can just explore it at your leisure, get what you want to get from it. It's cool. It's cool.
But yeah, since it is somewhere where theoretically you would only access it by going back to Undead Asylum, it is like a secret on top of a secret.
Which is why it's like that kid in the playground.
Yeah, once again.
And then once you've been all the way back, you'll find a doll, and then you go back to the cathedral in Anor Londo, and then you hold the doll up, and it sucks you into the painting, and there's a whole nother world in there.
And you can get the cool fucking crown. The
Xanthus crown.
Yeah, Xanthus.
What, old monks?
It's the old monk set, which is what people were originally calling it, because it was from Demon Souls.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, which is, and it's intensely impractical, just because that fucking headpiece will block your view of what you're attacking often.
Yep. It's not designed to be practical, in fairness. I think that's pretty obvious from looking at it, that it's not designed to be practical.
Speaking of having a large bulbous head, the enemies here are really gross.
Yes, they are. It's also one of the best designed areas in the game, because they spent a lot of time on it.
They're difficult enemies, because you kill them and then they poison you, you don't kill them and then they breathe fire at you.
I don't know why they're all pyromancers. Like, they drop pyromancy. Well, some of them do.
I wonder, are the people or the enemies in the painting, are they people who live in the painting, or were they painted? They're part of the world, and then Priscilla obviously lives there, but...
I'm guessing they were thrown in, like everything else was. Because there's a lot of stuff that belongs to, like, Velka in this world.
Yes.
And that's I'm guessing, something that the gods want nothing to do with. Fuck it, send it to pain in the world. Including the Occult Ember, which creates weapons that are good against the gods, which are useless in gameplay terms, but are really interesting as part of the narrative.
Also, they put Priscilla there, and her weapons are apparently good at killing gods also.
Yeah, life steal.
Life steal, which is forbidden. It's bleed that does 80% of your health when it procs. It's fucking ridiculous.
Also, potentially the first place you'll see wheel skeletons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, baby!
And it's in a maze as well.
Corridors.
Lots of tight corridors. The wheel skeletons, you can't necessarily see them because it's dark down there. They just come at you. It's quite a scary area. But
the open area in the basement is actually just as bad as the narrow parts, because they'll come at you from anywhere. You don't know where you're being attacked.
It really gets your heart going. It's like, oh.
You just hear rattle, and it gets closer and closer and closer. So... I'm one of those weird people that has a 3D monitor and has actually used it in the past. I maintain that wheel skeletons in 3D is the most terrifying thing that exists in games. And I won't hear anything different to the contrary.
Why?
Because it's terrifying. You see them and they come at you in full fucking 3D. It's fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
Bearing down on you like a fucking freight train.
That's like how a 3D movie back in the day had to have something that pops out just so they could show off the 3D effects.
They still do that as well.
They're crap. 3D movies are a meme.
They are, yes, I agree.
Absolute meme.
I agree.
So there's another couple of weird things in here, like the hopping demon, or like it's actually the back of a zombie dragon, isn't it?
Well, no, the front of the zombie dragon is there too.
Yeah, but once you kill that, you've got this, and if you hit it hard enough, then it just stands up.
I don't know why that is. I don't understand. I don't know. Is it a glitch? Is it intentional?
It probably was a glitch, and they just kept it in because it was funny.
Because that forms a shortcut.
That's
then
true.
You can use. It's also where you get the red soapstone, which is useful if you just want to have duels and stuff, isn't it?
What's interesting with the painted world is that there's very little that isn't intentional because it's the area that they spent the most time on. Because that was the first area of the game that they finished. It was like their test area as well. And then they couldn't figure out where to put it in the main game, so they just made a teleport to it. Because it doesn't really make sense as an area to connect to anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, the meta commentary thing of just like all of the things here are rejected.
Yeah.
The boss fight here is good as well.
Yeah, it's really creative. Like having to look at the snow to see where she is, but only part of it is like covered with snow. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
it's quite fun. It's also the only boss that you don't have to fight once you enter their fog wall. They'll just be like, you can go.
Yeah, you can go, lady. It's fine.
But I always fight her though, because I come here for the purpose of powering up before Ornstein and Smough, so I want to get as many souls as possible. So I always end up fighting her.
I like her boss fight. It's a pretty good boss fight.
It's good.
Oh yeah.
An interesting one.
It's really hard for a sorcerer because you can't aim.
Yeah, correct.
Pyromancers are easy because you can actually.
I just had to hit her a bunch until she materialized, and after that it was like just soul spear in her face. She's down. Felt bad, but I wanted to see what the fight was like. So you can potentially get trapped though, can't you? Because if you fight her and then you can't beat her, you're stuck in the painted world until you can beat her.
Yep.
Yes.
But all the enemies give a lot of souls, so you can power up until you can beat her pretty easily.
Yeah,
She isn't that difficult. I mean, she just does that bleed, and if it procs on you, I'm probably gonna die.
Just on the subject of this being a secret area and coming back to what Mike was saying about him respecting that they use this as a secret area, it is something that you don't see in games nowadays just because games designers are like, well, we put so much effort into making
we
this.
better make it easy for them to find it.
Yeah,
we need so much return on this content.
Yeah, there's nothing that can be like too obscure in games nowadays because they're like, well, we need to make sure that everyone sees everything we've made. So it's pretty ballsy actually of FromSoft to say put these 2 areas in that the majority of players, or 3 areas if you include the Ash Lake, majority of players aren't going to find actually unless they use a guide. So a lot of people will just miss these on their first playthrough.
Well, or with a more robust hint system, like theoretically, some hints could guide you to fucking like getting back to the asylum. Like it really just needs. It's just try jumping, but for once you have to believe it.
Yeah.
And then you don't need to know to turn into it. It's the only thing you can do at the nest. And so if you like fully meticulously explore, if there's just that one hint, you theoretically could get to it.
I think all you would need to do is put an item or a soul somewhere you can see up at the top of that tower, so that then players go, I can get up there. And then go up there. One of my friends said he actually did go up there without being told about it, just because he was exploring and he thought, I can probably get up that tower. So it does happen, and then I guess those people can leave messages for the other people who then, pass it on until everybody knows about it. So again, it's an interesting way that the multiplayer and connected world things work.
Yeah.
You just got to believe that kid and what he's written on the ground.
Can't believe.
Trust that you should try jumping off.
No. Well, it's a lie.
Yeah. So yeah, it does require. It's decently hidden, but I don't think it's fucking impossible.
Yeah.
Or like unreasonable. And especially when the community is actually active, there's going to be some kind of hint right where you need to, like, if your equip load is low enough, you can make it just by rolling.
And again, with the painted world, the painting is so big it grabs your attention when you're in the cathedral, and then you can examine the painting, and it says you need to do something here.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell you what. The peculiar doll is one of the items that will come up in loading screens and stuff as well. You can see it, and you can possibly connect that to the painted world and say, well, where is that?
Yeah. Which by the way, the items loading screen thing is a million times better than if they just had a big logo that said Dark Souls on release.
I'm sure they would never have ever done that.
Problem with Bloodborne's loading screen item descriptions is that it can spoil the reveal.
Well, you spoil the reveal as soon as you pick up Madman's Knowledge. What I would have liked in Bloodborne, and this is complete tangent, is that item descriptions change as you get more insight.
Oh, yeah, insight is a very underused thing.
That would have been like fucking outstanding, because you would have had different descriptions, and by the time you get to like 50, 60 by the end of the game, it's like, you're gonna get fucked. That's what's gonna happen here, and you're gonna like it. Because blood, basically. Because blood. Nanomachine, son.
Bro, what do you like, bro? Do you like eyes, or do you like blood?
That's the major conflict of the game right there.
Or as Ludwig would say, why not both?
Yeah, exactly. Anyways,
so in what order are we taking on these four areas?
I think we should mention a certain character we haven't talked about yet. He's noisy, he snores, and his breath is lethal.
We talked briefly about Frampt last time.
We did.
And his big veiny shaft.
I like when you come back
actually.
to him and he's so excited about the Lordvessel that he just like
he eats
he
you.
growls, or what is it?
Yeah, he makes some noises, doesn't he?
Heavens, you have done it. You have retrieved the Lordvessel. After 1,000 years, it is you. It is really you. Forgive me. I really should calm down.
It's a very odd noise.
And then he takes you to place the Lordvessel by just swallowing you up.
Yep, and he looks even more ridiculous upside down.
Yeah.
He does, yes. In terms of mysteries of the Souls series, I think you've got Frampt and Karth. What the fuck are they? And what the fuck are the others that come up in the Dark Lord ending?
Primordial serpents.
Yeah, they're primordial serpents.
But what is a primordial serpent?
It's a big dick.
It's a giant phallic serpent.
It's a big dick.
Never mentioned in the intro, despite the fact that it would be quite important to mention something like that in the intro. But it only mentions dragons.
Well,
it only mentions.
Well, no, but that's where you can kind of go, okay, wait a minute, this is something else that's entirely like apocryphal, and that does it is what also makes both of them unreliable, because
I guess so.
One of them it's these two big dicks, and one of them's like, yeah, that other dick, he's just like lying to you, like you shouldn't trust him, and you deserve better, baby.
And said dick just fucks up everything that he comes into contact with. Literally everything that Karth touches turns to shit. So,
I mean, not from Koth's perspective, so...
Well, not from his perspective,
from his point of view, the Lords are evil.
From his point of view, building cities and towns is evil.
Thanks, Obi-Wan. You're the best.
Well, I'm sorry, like Frampt, because, like, whether or not they just did the opening cinematic before they put him in as like a lore dump or not, like he's still, because he doesn't have like this bigger kind of mythological role, like it is kind of a why do I trust you?
You don't, you just do things because video games tell you to, which is the meta narrative there. You just do things.
You can ignore both of them and just jump down into the hole. You don't actually have to get swallowed by one of them.
Yeah, but it follows you down anyway. Ultimately, you're taking the Framped path if you jump down into his hole.
I think you can anger him and then he doesn't come back.
Yeah, but you've still taken that. You can't meet Karth if you jump down Framped.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, if you go to Koth, like, and then go back to Framped, he's like, fuck you.
Yeah, he's like, you've made a bad decision.
Fucking Chosen Undead, like, always just, like, assholes. I mean, like, I'm trying to be super nice and, like, you know what?
I just want to set you on fire. Come on. I just want to set you on fire. Like, Chosen Undead, though, they always just go for like, these like, Chad dickheads who want to bring about an age of darkness. The Chad Dark Lord.
Isn't Koth really stupid to not even try to change your mind if you side with Friend first? Like, he could show up anyway and tell you about how great the darkness is.
In fairness, if you just choose to go out the fog gate after you kill Gwyn, he shows up anyway. Yeah. It's like, yes, I never met you, but hi, welcome.
And it's like, no, I wanted to go back and do the content I missed. No, don't New Game Plus me, please.
And then you were New Game Plus anyway, because there was no choice in Dark Souls 1.
Can you Homeward Bone out?
Maybe.
Oh, I don't think so.
Maybe not after you've killed Gwyn. Or maybe you can, but then you have to go back to it, and then he's dead anyway. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's a million theories about this ending, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Anyway, one last thing about the Penny World. Priscilla, child of Sif and Guinevere?
Maybe.
Definitely, Sif is definitely dead.
Almost certain, I would say, yes.
No, Guinevere's married to the fire god.
Oh no, she ran off with Flame God Flan. Doesn't mean she was always with him.
Do you think
also worth noting...
do you think this is why Sith steals princesses?
He specifically steals princesses of the Princesses Guard, which is their covenant.
Yeah. Well, also worth noting, Sith was made a duke. The definition of a duke is that you are the sibling of a king or a queen.
Yeah, so
that's what a duke is, essentially.
Married into the family, at least.
Yeah, so he's married into the family, basically.
And he gets like part of the soul. So maybe like they were originally like promised as a thing. Like somebody had the theory that Havel like fucking witnessed it and then was locked up for knowing that.
I don't think it couldn't have been like a massive secret, though, surely. If you make a guy a duke publicly, you married him into your family, there's no real fucking ambiguity about that.
Priscilla was probably kept secret, though.
Yeah, Priscilla's quite clearly kept secret.
Yeah, that's true. On the other hand, there's also the fact that Gwyn had more than one daughter.
Which is bullshit.
That's Dark Souls 3
Could have just
we'll have to wait till they make Dark Souls Firewalk with me to find out kind of the origin story here.
Out of all the I said we weren't going to talk about Dark Souls 3, but out of all the callbacks to 1, Frida's two major disappointments, we never get to meet the real Guinevere, and we never get to meet the Primordial Serpents again.
Nope.
So that's kind of left unsolved.
They reference them.
They do, absolutely.
They absolutely do, and like even in just like the environment, like you see these statues of primordial serpents.
There's that theory that they're all actually one body that's
it could well be
connected, and there's that shield that's got sort of a many-headed snake on it, isn't there?
I mean, you can quite plainly see that there is more than one of them. It's like Framped and Karth. I think they share the same voices, don't they? But they could be different people on the basis that you see like 6 of them in the dark ending.
But they could all be connected to one.
They could all be connected to one.
They've each got a brain, but
anyway, since we're talking about
flappy ears,
let's go ahead and talk about the new Londo route first.
Why not?
You gotta make another detour down
to... It's a shithole.
Gotta make another detour down to Darkroot Basin to pick up Covenant of Artorias, who is the only person to ever walk the Abyss. You're gonna be ganked on the way there by the forest hunters. They're like a D&D party. There's like a barbarian and a sorcerer and a priest.
Yeah, no, it's pretty awesome when I do like when the game just does go straight up like fantasy shit.
Yeah. Fantasy tropes are great. You've also got Shiva, who you don't technically get to fight unless you really piss someone off.
Joining the forest hunters is really weird because Alvina the cat asks you.
Traversing the dark. 'Tis but a fairy tale. Have thine own respect. Go not yonder knocking for nothing, I say.
Like, what are you asking me?
Give me a second. I've got this shit somewhere here. Where is it?
Yeah, have thine own respect. Go not yonder knocking for nothing, I say. So if you say yes, well indeed, thou art a strange one. Nevertheless, I feel some liking for thee.
This right here, this is the image. Right here. Excuse me, I need to get something from the door.
It's weird that Alvina meows while talking.
Yes, she sort of purrs, doesn't she? It sounds really odd. But it's cool.
Well, yeah. So it's talking psychically or something. I do like the idea.
Wait for the second. That image, I pretty much that was my thought. Yes or no, motherfucker?
Yeah, the thing with I like the cat being the symbol for the Forest Guild because if you've ever owned a cat and seen what it actually does with mice,
pretty much.
Yeah, no, it's like I'm clearly doing this just for the fun of it. Like I watched my cat one time just like one by one just like break a mouse's legs before like finally it couldn't squirm away, and so then he just like
in
broke
fairness,
its neck and its
jaws. A lot
jaws.
of that doesn't really happen in the wild. The reason that it tends to happen domestically is because cats are bored domestically. They don't have as much shit to do. So if they find something that entertains them, they'll fucking play with it rather than just eat it straight up.
Yeah, my one of my friend's cats like always would take mice to the bathtub. Like, just pick them up and put them in the bathtub, and so she would come home, and there's just blood streaks all over the bathtub.
What?
So yeah, like cats are cruel and awful, and it's perfect for the fucking Forest Guild.
Also, the black cats that are on the way to Sif. Fuck me.
The cannonball cats?
Fuck me.
The Sonic
the fucking Hedgehog.
They gotta go fast.
They just have to go fast.
They have a very well defined aggro range.
They do as well, yeah.
Just underneath where the sort of the little dip ledge.
Yeah, there's little trees,
and you can just poke them in the eye from there, and they won't attack you.
The first time I
fought
fought them,
that fight.
The first time I fought them, one of them glitched out and just was perpetually spinning into the wall without stopping. It was really funny.
Real skeletons do that sometimes.
Accurate. I like the entire forest area. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I like and just like just kind of visually how it's like these little these little glowing flowers.
Yeah,
well, they show you where to go, but because of the depth of field thing, like it's hard to distinguish them from items.
Yeah.
So like true. It can also just like deliberately like get you lost and ganked by more forest people.
But a lot of them lead you towards items as well that you wouldn't normally find. Like the wolf ring, I think you find that way as well.
I found that by dropping off one of the ledges, I think, down to it. And sort of, I went the wrong way round because I didn't realise you could kill the trees there. Sort of fell down like, oh, yeah, there is stuff down here. Because I could see some enemies down there. I was like, I know you can get down there. Because the ray things are down there. I don't know what they're called, the sort of poisonous-looking ray things.
I don't know their names either, but they're another really weird enemy. The forest has some like enemies that you're probably never gonna see because the area is so huge and you don't have to go there.
Yeah. Well, you have to go through like one part of it.
You don't have to go for the cats. I actually only encountered the cats once.
No, you can completely avoid the cats if you go through the Mushroom Men.
Oh yeah.
Mushroom Men.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, but yeah, then there is so Sif is one of the more like directly kind of anime kind of boss fights, but it's still pretty fucking cool.
It's so the intro cutscene is really great and changes if you've done the DLC first, which
Yep.
I don't know how it's possible, but like,
You can do it.
Oh, does
Yeah,
it?
you can.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, you just have to go to you just have to beat Seath first.
this is one of the
You don't
enemies.
have to beat Seath, you just have to have the Lordvessel and have placed it. So you have to take the Frant route, basically, if you're going to do it.
This is one of the enemies that can be the first boss you fight, but why would you do that?
I know, right? It's crazy.
It's
I don't know how many people have actually played Dark Souls at release.
I did, yeah.
You did. No, how many people got to Sith at release? Is the question, I guess. So when the game first came out, the whole community was looking for a way and believed there was a way to not have to kill Sith because people didn't want to have to do it. It was one of those like that kid moments where it's like, yeah, you can spare Sith and he'll go off and he'll run away or she'll run away or whatever it is. And like people kept trying and people kept looking for it and eventually people just gave up. But it lasted about 6 months, I think. People trying to do this constantly, trying to find different ways, trying to find different items. People thought it might be the pendant or something like that, and it wasn't.
I guess,
It was one of these things.
Even pre-DLC, people I guess figured out that Sith is protecting you.
Yes.
Like,
People really like Sith. I think that's what I'm trying to say. People really, really like Sith.
Sith's a good dog.
You just fought your way through a forest of asshole cats, and it's like, oh no, he's a good boy.
Or a good girl. Sith is traditionally a girl's name in Norse mythology. So I think it was like the companion of Thor.
Don't quote me on that, but yes.
Let me have a look at
Somehow
this.
related to Thor, yeah. Sith, I think I came and I fought Sith a bit earlier than I should have done and lost the first time I played it through and came back later and beat Sith after I'd learnt some pyromancies and stuff. So, I
love it. I love his fucking moveset.
Sif is a Norse
very
goddess who is
Okami,
mentioned
isn't
somewhat
it?
often. She is the wife of the storm god Thor.
There you go.
Wait, dude, old god pantheons like Greek and Norse, they're all weird and like people marrying animals and shit.
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah,
Anyway.
so there you go. So Sif is in Norse mythology, which actually plays a really big part of Dark Souls.
Is the Norse Sith a dog?
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
it's
that's-
dogs.
that makes it okay.
But the interesting thing with the Norse mythology thing is that the runes on the Titanite slab actually mean something and have been translated and relate to the plot of Dark Souls.
What?
This is one of the really weird things.
Well, what to say then?
I can find it. Titanite slab translation. Where is it? Here we go.
Sith's an interesting boss as well because they don't have like an awakened form. Sith's just got like a I am hurt form. So some of the bosses, like you hurt them to a certain point and then they'll get a bit harder, like they'll buff up or something like that. Sith does the opposite and just starts limping. Sure. It's kind of cute.
So it's a bit weird because there aren't many of the runes, and you have to take a bit of poetic license as to what each of them not means, because the meaning of the rune is known because it's an old Viking rune or an old Norse rune. But it's essentially there's 3 lines and there's like 5 or 6 runes per line. Line 1: the meek sought God / the divine in the trees. Yggdrasil, the tree of life, bestowed gifts of plenty, joy, and health. The people remained and hardship set in. They found a spark, which turned into a sun, driving away the cold. Terrible trouble came. The sun ended this conflict. The age of gods continued and began an era of wealth and plenty. Man began to ascend. Cold and ice will return. That's what the Titanite slab
It
means.
is basically the opening.
It's the opening,
Yeah, well,
pretty much, yeah.
From the old lady.
Like,
Yeah,
they're actually real.
Nintendo, you should take note of this if
Like,
you're
what?
listening, because if you examine the Hylian root Breath of the Wild, then it's just memes.
What?
It's just memes.
yeah, all your
serious?
base.
Oh,
yeah, you know
God.
when you activate the
Sheikah
Tower. It does like a thing where the runes go down towards a point and then it drops down onto the slate. One of the translated sets of runes is all your base, which is
Jesus
a thing.
Christ. Reminds
Also,
me
the
of,
other one is downloading, which is like entertaining.
Reminds me of the the fan enhancement hack for Final Fantasy VI, where they rebalance everything and make all the mechanics really good, but they also change all of Ultros' puns into memes.
Ah! Stop it!
His puns are so good.
Yeah, Ultros is the best part of that game. Like, how dare you?
This allows me to segue into a pun, which I heard at work and I really like. Why do Swedish ships have barcodes?
No, why?
So when they come back to port, they can Scandinavian.
Get out, Moogle.
There you go.
Anyways, shut the fuck up.
There you go.
Dark Souls.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a dead body. There's a dead body behind Notorious' grave, who carries the Hornet Ring. She is a character from the DLC, and it's pretty sad to see that she just died by his grave.
She does exactly the same thing in Dark Souls 3 as well, oddly enough.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that is kind of again a thing with Dark Souls. Like, everything's going to die. There is like this nihilistic kind of undercurrent to it. It's like, yeah, everybody's going to die, and literally everything you built or dedicated your life to is going to also just die eventually. Like, even if someone links the flame, it's just going to kind of hold out the age of fire a little longer. But like, what are you gonna do? Like, the various characters, that, especially the ones you meet at Firelink Shrine, also kind of have different answers to this. Like, do you go up? Do you go crazy? Do you kind of keep the faith, even though you know it's kind of silly and meaningless? So I don't know.
So Solaire can end up alive but depressed. That's about the best you can do.
Well, apparently this is the thing.
Bro, I was looking for my son and you cock-blocked me.
According to Miyazaki, in Solaire's world, he links the fire himself.
Yeah, so if you bring him along to the final battle, he becomes the sun.
Yeah.
So that's a good ending, I guess.
Yeah. For him, it's a good ending because he gets to be a son, but then again, he also gets to go fucking insane. Oh well.
So with the Covenant of Artorias in tow, we head to New Londo. New players will probably end up here at some point and try to beat the area.
It's a shit heap.
Yeah.
Most new players will go to New Londo because the guy, the Crestfallen Warrior says there's a bell below, and you go, oh, I can go below, and you go below and there's nothing fucking there.
Also, if you talk to him enough, he says, have you been down to New Londo yet?
Excuse me.
And sort of points you towards the fact you can go down. I was reading through his dialogue earlier today and saw that. So he does tell you it's down there.
He says it was once a undead city, which, like, it was built specifically for the undead because they couldn't be in Londo.
Yeah.
And there's a blacksmith down here as well.
Yeah, who locked himself in to protect himself, which is kind of awesome, actually. I like.
Poor guy, just sat there for an eternity,
and he doesn't want you to let him out. He is. By the way, his name Rickert is one of many direct references to Berserk, because the smith for the Band of the Hawk is named Rickert.
The other thing is you will also likely see the completely hollowed version of the Crestfallen Warrior down there as well.
Eventually,
we talked about why he goes hollow and goes here. I'm guessing he tried to kick Fran's ass.
Or he's just... Well, no, he says, I'm going to find some sort of solution to this.
Maybe he goes looking after Karth.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like, he goes looking after Koth, but he doesn't... He uses up both of his transient curses and then just tries to speedrun it and dies.
So, a lot like Laurentius, except this guy's a dickhead, and I don't care what happens to him.
Yeah.
So I guess this is probably the best time for me to talk about it. I think that Dark Souls goes very much downhill after you get the Lordvessel. I think it's a much better game all the way up until that point, and I think, outside of the Grand Archives, outside of the Duke's Archives, sorry.
I disagree. I think it's good. I think the first part
I think it's good,
better.
but I don't think it's anywhere near as good as the first half of the game. Like, the Tomb of Giants is shit heap.
I like the Tomb of Giants. Like, I think yeah, and they need a better way of conveying when you're supposed to fight. What's his face? The boss with the mask. I'm trying to remember. Pinwheel. Yeah. But no, like, all right. So Yeah, the game does like fall off specifically. I would say like in the area directly leading up to Nito is a pretty kind of boring.
Yeah,
And Lost Izalith is
a shit heap.
Izalith is
New
terrible.
Londo is pretty much a shit heap.
I thought New Londo.
I
I thought
disagree
New
with-
Londo was New Londo was pretty cool in my
It
opinion.
presents an interesting challenge.
I
but
think
there's-
some of it does.
I think one of the problems is the areas are a bit less fleshed out. There's a bit less exploration. There's less to find in these areas, except maybe the Duke's Archives, which is probably why you like it a bit more.
I think the game becomes a lot less visually interesting as well, which is part of the problem.
I don't know. I think New Londo has like a really cool kind of visual theme because it is supposed to be. It's like, no, here's where all of those asshole invaders kind of come from. Like here is like it's first off, like visually, it still is to me like very striking when it's still flooded. And then when you drain it, it's just black nasty shit.
It's brown
like,
goo. It's I don't know.
Yeah, to me like yeah, it's not like oh my god, super cool crazy shit in there, but it's I guess to me it's not supposed to evoke that. It's supposed to be like here is like a really nasty fucked up place. Like this place is going to be gross. You just drained a tepid pool of water.
I think the Blight Town did that, but better. And as a result, I'm not entirely sure what New Londo was trying to achieve. The bottom of New Londo, so I like the depths of it.
Well, you're walking through what is just a pile of corpses. You're not really walking through the streets of New Londo. You're on top of the buildings because like there's just a pile of bodies there, which is kind of gross.
Well, there's the ground, but yeah, this is really nasty. This is like horror almost. Because they're all piled up by the doors. Like
This
it reminds me of
is
Yahar'gul.
supposed to be the spooky area, isn't it? Because you fight the skeleton knight kind of guys that are the dark
dark
you fight
wraiths.
ghosts. There's those big oozing like awful slime things that are disgusting as well.
And
The Legion style things, yeah. They throw the red skulls out at you.
Yeah,
you find out where the red skulls come from.
Yeah, the last living sealer is here, and he'll probably be the one you find out about that you have to go to Artorias' grave. It's kind of fucked up. Kind of fucked up that this guy killed so many people. Like, you're sitting around talking to him.
One of the things I like about this area is that you open the floodgates to release all the water that then goes into the Valley of the Drakes, and the Drakes don't care. Yeah, whatever, just flood us. We don't care.
They have wings, and
Go
the
down into the valley.
water goes down to Blighttown.
But
it
nothing
goes down
then
into that valley.
changes in the other areas, which is a bit upsetting.
They could have done something that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, but at least that area changes.
Did we talk about the Valley of the Drakes yet?
There's nothing
There's
to talk
not a lot
about in the
to
valley.
I know
about-
this is what I want to talk about. The fact that there's fucking nothing to talk about in it.
It's just
It's
like
just
it's
a
just a
connecting
crossroads.
area.
Yeah.
It just connects.
There's the undead dragon, which Miyazaki had like a personal hand in wanting to design, but still like it's just like kind of it's just guarding some items.
He's just kind of clinging to that cliff, like, please don't push me off.
No,
My
Londo-
butt's
an
already
undead.
fallen down to and lost Izalith. Please don't push the rest of me down there.
An undead who's clinging to something. I wonder.
New Londo originally had a mini-boss called Undead King Jar-Il.
Yes,
But he got
I've
cut.
seen that.
Sigurd, there's some, not Sigurd. Ingward has some dialogue that mentions him, but you never... Oh, he has some cut dialogue that mentions him.
Yeah,
But nothing comes out of that.
I've
He
seen
has
his
a model
moveset,
as well, the
and he's
boss.
an interesting looking fight. It kind of like almost like Gwyn, but then his magic is more kind of like a cleric, almost. From the
He's
look
got
of it.
dark magic as well because he's one of the four kings. So
Were the four kings supposed to be separate entities then? So you have to fight them each individually.
yeah. So they were the four kings of New Londo. So they were the people who were in charge.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So
And they
originally there were
somehow
planned to be four bosses down there.
Yeah. Originally there would be like 4 bosses, but then they would also somehow have spoken to Koth and been corrupted by him.
Speculation based on the on Dark Souls 3, of course, is that they may have been some of the pygmies, the pygmy lords. So, who knows? Unclear.
Well, yeah, because they do, like, the actual 4 kings themselves do have that similar thing that you see in Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
Where like undeads start to turn into fucking trees.
Mm-hmm. And they've got like the big growths and other stuff. It's they do have they do, like, you look at them, they do have like a kind of wooden sort of look. And you'll see this in Dark Souls 3. Like they draw a big connection between the undead and the pygmies and trees.
I usually do the 4 Kings battle last because I have most damage when I'm more leveled up. It forces you to change up the way you play the game, which is
yeah, no, it's good. It's because, like, up until this point, you actually could have played, aside from Smo and Ornstein, which if you do solo, like, you're only going to be doing, like, trying to get what hits you can in, and it's going to be really, like, dodge heavy. But yeah, no, with this, it's like, yeah, pure just, you need to try and do as much damage as quickly as you can. If you have Havel's set, it actually makes it even easier because you're just poising through it. Also, if you have the Wolf Ring, you can also do that.
There's a number of ways to do it, basically.
I always save a lightning resin for this just to get that little extra damage per hit. Like, resin's much better earlier in the game, but still I keep one around because it really helps.
It's definitely a hard fight if it's the first one you do after getting the Lordvessel, because I had a lot of trouble with it and summoned Happy for it, and then Happy helped me to beat it. And that was all right. But if it's just one of you, then, especially, I was a caster, so I couldn't create the space to sort of take them out easily. When I did it the first time round, playing as my sort of melee pyromancer build, I actually had to fight 5 of them. Because I didn't do enough damage to the first 4.
Yeah, the 5th one shows up.
Yeah, but
I think the interesting thing is they give you like the very large ember as in New Londo, if I remember right.
Yep.
Is that correct? So they want you to have like a plus 15 weapon. It's plus 14, 13 maybe. And if you don't have it, that's your little test there. Is that they don't want you to beat them. Unless you can do enough damage.
My first build, like Mike said, was actually very poise heavy. It was Havel's ring, Havel's set, probably by that point in the game. I think the only way I could make it so that I had enough endurance to wear everything was if I wore the giant dad mask as well. So I had the Mask of the Father, and then Havel's ring, and then sort of the rest was Havel's set and Havel's shield. And you can just like tank their hits if you've got a big shield. So they're not too hard as a melee build, but if you were sort of pure pyromancy or pure
the dark hand that you can get as a rare drop from the what are they called? I can't even remember.
Dark Wraiths.
The Dark Wraiths is really, really fucking good against them as well. It's like one of the few times where that is a really good shield. If you hold it up as a shield, it negates quite a lot of their damage.
Oh, that's cool. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I really like the arena for this fight as well, because it's another one of those areas that stretches on forever.
So disorienting.
Yeah, when you first drop in, you're like, is that a tiny dude, or is he just far away? Like,
well, also that there is still a sense of, like, kind of space there, because if you died and you go down there, like, your souls are not just like, oh, in this one place, and like they're kind of surrounding you. It's like, no, your souls are actually off over there. I also just like this is the abyss. Like, this is we tried to make some stairs all the way down here so that we could just walk down to Koth.
But it didn't fucking work.
And then, if you haven't spoken to Frampt yet, of course you can speak to Carfair.
And join the Dark Race.
And he'll tell you, yo, that other guy is just like, he's like lying to you, and you deserve better, baby. Like,
come with me.
Yo, like, check this out. You can
respect you.
Dare you enter my magical realm?
Yeah.
Dare you enter my maw? And I did on my second playthrough. That's another thing that you wouldn't sort of find out about necessarily, because I think the majority of people are going to talk to Frampt and then miss out on Carfair.
It's designed to be a very, very secret thing.
So it's kind of that's another one of these secrets that's very interesting. And unlocks a whole another covenant. And people do like soul level 1 runs, don't they? So then they can invade anyone as a Dark Wraith, which must be really hell to do. But
no, pyromancy.
Yeah, pyromancy.
Pyromancy, mate.
And if you get to that point, you've earned it.
Yeah, you've earned the ability to just ruin people.
I've done it once before. It's not that bad with pyromancy.
In the rest of the
doing
game,
anything else is really fucking hard, but...
In the rest of the game, multiplayer like level ranges are calculated by how many souls you've spent and not the level you are, thank fuck. So you can't just do pyromancy and be level 1 but really strong.
Except Dark Souls 2, where it's how many souls you've earned total.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that seems a bit silly to me, because if you've lost a lot of souls, then you'd be
Dark Souls 2 did a lot of very silly things.
They finally
introduced...
No, she's great.
She is great, but she never fucking explained.
They finally have like an item. They added one later in a patch where it just like you can't gain any souls while you're wearing this ring.
Mm-hmm. That was a good idea. A better idea, of course, was the Bloodborne method and the Dark Souls 3 method.
Well, yeah, it's just based on how many souls you spent to level up, and then also like your weapon upgrade.
Well, Dark Souls 3 you could do it to pretty much anybody. It not leveled you down, but it decreased your weapons if the host hadn't got a certain weapon by that point. So a certain upgrade type.
Yeah. All right, let's see. So 4 Kings, I'd say it's still a pretty cool boss.
I like it.
Yeah. I like the area. It's super scary. It's kind of like this disorienting black shithole ruin that I think is probably
ghosts that it throws at you.
I like that the ghosts in that area do ghost shit. Like it's like
spooky drift through walls.
Well, no, just spooky long arm attack through walls. Like it's like if I was a ghost, it's like that would be what I would do. Like cause hey, you can't get me.
Spooky shit through the ceiling.
Yeah, exactly.
The only problem with spooky shit through the ceiling is sometimes you just can't hit them, depending on what sort of weapon you've got.
Spooky scream!
It's interesting as well that if you get cursed by the curse frogs, you can use that curse in this area if you want to.
Well, yeah,
and I think that's nice.
So something else here, just like relating to how people die. So clearly, like, I mean, it was supposed to be a city for the undead, but when the undead die, like, they just go hollow, right? You know, if they die enough, they just go crazy and they go hollow. But I think something about like it's like this was such like a horrible atrocity that that's why there's ghosts here.
Yep.
Maybe it's because their bodies have been destroyed and they continue to be undead and resurrect, but since they have no body to resurrect into, they are just spirits now.
Yeah, something to do with curses as well. You can make Artorias' greatsword cursed, and you can use that one as well. That affects them. Yeah. Which is my preferred way of doing it because that's one of my favourite weapons in the game.
If you use occult weapons, can you hit them then?
Occult weapons are against gods, they're not against ghosts.
No,
yeah.
I don't think there's many cursed weapons in the game.
You can
drop them.
They drop a weapon.
Yeah, so ghosts drop a couple, and Artorias' greatsword, the cursed version.
Alright, you want to do Izalith route next, or?
Yeah, let's do that. So first off, you want to go and get 35 humanity.
It's a shit heap. I'm going to keep saying this. It's a shit heap.
There are parts of Demon Ruins that are like, and like...
Yes.
Izalith, once you get into the actual, like, temple, it's fine, but...
I think
Anyway.
my main problem with the Demon Ruins is that it feels very, 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 very similar to World 2 of Demon Souls. So, like, 2.2 and 2.3 feel very, very similar to the Demon Ruins.
Anyway, heading through Quelaag's domain into this area. First thing you're gonna run into is Ceaseless Discharge.
God bless him, Ceaseless Discharge.
He has a sad face.
He's very upset, isn't he?
And robbing his sister's grave gets him to attack you. First time this happened to me, he only did the vertical arm slam attack. Like, he never did anything else.
Yep.
And so I thought, man, this guy's really easy. I didn't even know about the just running back to get him to fall over.
Eventually, he's just gonna blow fire at you and you're gonna get fucked.
Yeah.
Most of the time, at least.
I didn't fight him properly either times I played it. I might have been able to take him as a spellcaster, but I just wanted to skip him. I think first time I played him with my melee style character, I did run away and potentially accidentally stumbled upon the fact that he does fall off if you go far enough. But no, I had a lot of trouble fighting him at first because of the fire breath attack.
Yep.
He just wasted me.
Yep. Interesting factoid about Ceaseless Discharge. For a very long time, Miyazaki dropped hints towards people in interviews that there was a way to not kill one of the bosses in the game that was otherwise mandatory, and everyone thought it was Sif. It wasn't Sif, it was Ceaseless Discharge. You can avoid killing him by like tanking the lava underneath him. So you can get through there. It took people a very, 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 very long time to find out the exact way of doing it, but there are ways of surviving the lava and getting to the other side without draining it by killing him.
And obviously, you get the lava ring from the centipede demon later.
And you can also get flash sweat.
Yes, you can do a lot of things, but the exact way, because it involves a little bit of not quite clipping, but like geometry silliness essentially. But apparently that was what Miyazaki was talking about. So you can avoid killing Ceaseless Discharge if you want to, which you should, because he's a very sad, very tragic story.
Yeah, but you're going to go kill his mum anyway. What's he got left to live for? He's got no mum, he's got no sister because you killed her, his other sister's a vegetable, his other sister's dead, maybe there's a couple more around, you kill another one while you're in the Izalith ruins, you know.
I like
killed
that,
all his family.
I like that his music has the same little choral bit that Quelaag's music does.
Yeah. There's a lot of that with the music in the game, and I really like that they do those little things.
They have motifs.
Yeah.
Anyway, killing him causes the lava to go away because he's literally bleeding lava, and
that's what he's discharging ceaselessly.
Oh, just a wonderful, wonderful life.
That's why he's so sad. And there's just like 10 Taurus demons staring you down, which is like, I mean, the fight
and Capra demons as well.
Yeah, and
at the same time.
The fight's not fun because all you do is just draw them out one by one. But man, is it like that's one of the like really badass feelings in Dark Souls, like walking towards like 10 Taurus demons staring you down, and the way you're powered up by then, like you're thinking like I can do this. It's not like a holy shit I should run away thing.
The early game boss later on becomes like a normal enemy.
Yeah.
One of my favorite little tropey things.
Yeah, and it works well here because it's been long enough that you are you are a lot stronger now. You can sort of take them down. They feel like
you're doing like
you feel your progress,
hundreds and hundreds of damage per hit, where before you're doing like 40 or 50. Like, yeah, I can do this now.
Walking into the deeper part of the ruins, you can actually see the boss clinging to the side of the wall, which is really awesome.
Yeah, if you go to the left after going down the big staircase, you can see it in its area, can't you? Funny thing happened to me here. You know, there's those bugs that kind of swoop down from the ceiling and kind of eat you?
The bugs, you mean the worms?
Yeah, there's the big wall worms that like...
Yeah,
there's a couple that come down from the ceiling and grab you. One grabbed me and I fell through the floor into the centipede demon's area.
Nice.
But because I'd accessed it from the wrong place, I couldn't like move around or anything. So I had to homeward bone out, but I got sort of stuck in a sort of part of the centipede demon's area. It was weird. Demon Fire Sage, then, I suppose.
Yeah, who is the same as...
Nothing to fucking say.
You know what? you know what kind of disappoints me? Despite the variety of demons in this game, like, they stopped going with the astrological signs theme. Because we have the Taurus demon, then we have the Capricorn demon.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of give up after that, despite there being more demons. I don't know what the Gemini demon would have been, but I bet it would have been awesome.
Yeah. Well, I guess the Bell Gargoyles, you kind of could have gone with a Gemini demon for there.
Yeah, if they were demons.
You'd have to have like an underwater section for the fish demon.
And
Pisces
Aquarius, yeah.
No, what's happening is that the Aquarius demon is carrying the bucket of water that the Pisces demon sits in.
Oh,
my god.
You see?
Why don't you make Dark Souls moves?
Let's make our own.
Right
we'll
there.
make our own Souls-like. We'll call it
Star Souls.
And this constellation forms the Crusades.
Let's make Starhead Panic a reality.
Starhead Panic is a Souls-like.
Anyway, the Centipede Demon, probably the worst boss in the game.
Yeah,
really
one of the
hard
biggest
to
camera issues in the game.
The arena is huge, but you can't move through any of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's complete fucking bullshit.
Sometimes he'll just throw you into lava as well. He'll grab you and just, like, he has a grab attack that sometimes he will reposition you from into the lava.
Solaire can be helpful here if you have a ranged guy, but if you have a melee guy, Solaire will lure the demon away from you, so you can't hit him. So you need some kind of ranged weapon if you're going to bring Solaire in with you.
Izalith was one of the last things I did on both of my playthroughs, actually, because I took the shortcut specifically so I didn't have to do it. And both times, on my melee Pyromancer build, the Centipede Demon was a bit hard. It took me a couple of tries, but I aced it on my first try with my wizard character, because actually you do so much damage by that point in the game. It's like, it doesn't really have anything to offer anymore, so you can range him quite easily as a spellcaster.
Remember,
I just don't like the idea that almost the entire arena is lava, and you get the lava ring for killing him.
Right after killing him.
It just, that really, really grinds my fucking gears.
Maybe a better thing would have been if killing the Ceaseless Discharge had given you the ring, or something else had given you the ring.
I think if there'd been like two paths to go down, like Demon Fire Sage and Centipede Demon, killing Demon Fire Sage gives you the lava ring.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
I mean, the item description for this is amazing, though. Like, the ring belonged to Ceaseless Discharge to control his
mutations.
His mutation that made him bleed lava. But he dropped it, and the Centipede Demon came from the ring after he dropped it.
And then it ran away. Ha ha ha! You can't catch me.
That's why he's crying.
He's crying. He's got a lot of things
He
to
had
cry
a hard
about.
life. Ceaseless Discharge.
He had a hard life, man.
From there, we're on to the Izalith Ruins.
Yeah, where you'll meet. If you haven't taken the shortcut, this is the last time you can talk to Solaire. I'm gonna splice in his dialogue right here.
Why? After all this searching, I still cannot find it.
Going into the ruins, though, the infamous parts with the bounding demons, who are just the lower half of an undead dragon. I have a theory about this. There's no source, but I can tell you, these enemies were supposed to have another model, but they just couldn't finish it on time. So they just took the dragon butts instead. And I think that's because the finished version of this enemy appears in Dark Souls 2, in Sanctum City Shulva, in one of the DLCs. And it's just like an oily black bulk with only a mouth, and like these two huge legs that they use to jump at you. And it's very similar to what you see here.
It's such a weird area, though, because you don't really have to fight the demons. I went in just to see the other way to get into sort of Izalith and fight the Bed of Chaos. And I kind of just walked around for a bit. I'm like, where am I going here? That looks like I can walk on it. If I walk over there, yeah, okay, this goes the right way. It's such a bad area because you're not directed. It feels like a very open area because of all the lava, and you don't really know where you're going. There's nothing to signpost you. You're just sort of walking between these temple-y looking things and Just like,
Yeah,
am I going the right way?
the whole thing kind of stinks of being incomplete, like, repeating a lot of the same enemies. Those demon statues are kind of lame.
And there's tons of them, but there's one really cool enemy here, which is the Chaos Eater. I don't know what the fuck they are, but I love them.
They're aliens!
Yeah. They're bloodworms.
They're fucking distressing is what they are. They make the fucking weirdest sounds as well.
Yeah, they make a really interesting sound. And don't jump at them, because you will end up in their head, mouth, whatever.
I don't think I've ever been eaten by them. Have they got like a grab?
Yeah, they do have a grab, but, they're really slow. And they don't have a lot of health, so you'll probably never get grabbed. And you can meet Sigmar here, which we talked about his questline already, but this is where it finishes up.
Yeah. You, and you have to orchestrate the events so that he
He
feels like a
wins
hero.
The fight, but he loses 50% of his health, and it's so like I tried so hard the second time, but I messed it up again because I killed them all before he got there. Even it's such a strange quest line and so hard to make him reach the end of it.
And then we have, you know what? I changed my mind about Centipede Demon. This is the worst fight in the game. Better Chaos.
Platforming boss, not puzzle boss. Roll past these arms boss.
Yeah.
Roll and pray that the collision doesn't just fuck you over to the other end of the arena. Oh wait, you're in the pit.
Yeah, you have to like break the barrier on the thing so you can go in. And the barriers stay broken even when you come back in, which is like game breaking its own rules in a weird way just to make the boss finishable, basically.
Yeah, there's also... I once got like a perfect cycle for it, and I was like, yes, all I've got to do is run forward and jump. Ran forward and jump. The ledge you have to land on is offset to the right slightly, so I just fell straight down the hole. I was like, shit.
After
Doing it again.
What I do is after breaking each barrier, I just quit and reload, and I'll be outside the boss door.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you don't have to run back.
If you're very quick with it, you're just like, yep. It's fine.
Speedrunners do it in a way cooler way, which is run straight up into the bosom of the Bed of Chaos, throw one firebomb to the left, throw one firebomb to the right, and they'll both hit the they'll both hit the barrier, so you can just go in. But the center of this huge tree thing is really creepy. Like the Witch of Izalith has just been turned into this little bug.
It's a little sunlight maggoty thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of the thing. So they already have like the weird wooden kind of roots thing that presumably come out of the sort of bed of chaos, and trees and stuff are somehow tied to the undead, and I think that it's some manifestation of trying to recreate the first flame, but also insects, all of the insectoid kind of things. You could kind of glean that they somehow come from here.
It's also funny that when you kill her, she becomes a bonfire, and there's that sort of lore that she was trying to create a new first flame. Well, which is what turned her into a bed of chaos. So when you kill her.
She tried to use her soul to recreate the first flame. That was her whole thing.
Yeah, so when you kill her, she becomes a bonfire, which kind of ties in with that, which is cool. And it's really just there so you can teleport out, because there's no way out of that fight.
And this battle would have been so easy to fix, which is just put a floor under the floor of bricks and give you a ladder back up. You still have to dodge the fire attacks as you go back up, but you don't just die instantly when the floor crumbles.
Well, it was originally supposed to be a proper boss, but they didn't have time to finish it, so they just...
Lots of things in the game were just left kind of as they were. It's unfortunate, but hey, what can you do?
Yeah. All right,
it was meant to be a callback to Demon Souls, the boss of the fire area is this huge thing that's a puzzle boss.
Except it's not a stealth boss this time, which is what Dragon King was.
Tomb of the Giants or Duke's Archives?
Let's do Duke's Archives last.
Yeah, Moogle actually,
all right.
When I played this the first time, Moogle specifically told me after beating Ornstein and Smough, do Izalith first, save the best for last.
Yeah.
Tomb of the Giants, then, we've got to go through the Catacombs first, which you won't necessarily have done and probably shouldn't do up until this point, because you have no way back if you don't have the Lordvessel.
Yeah.
So it's a very difficult place to come back from. There's a lot of hidden stuff in the Catacombs, which is kind of cool. You've got the hidden blacksmith, you've got a couple of hidden hidden routes down through places if you fall through specific floors.
I really dig the Catacombs. It's a sprawling maze in the best way possible. Like, there's so many ways to go through it.
Let's talk about the traps briefly, about how they are one of the dick moves that Dark Souls pulls.
But they're really pathetic. Like, they do no damage.
They don't, but it's one of those situations where games will often condition you to think a certain thing is happening. So they'll say, here is how, like in Mega Man, is it Gutsman stage, where the platform sort of dips down and then back up before you can jump onto it, so you understand how that platform works. Dark Souls does the opposite of this in the Catacombs by showing you these statues that you can walk past quite happily, and you're like, alright, these are just statues, they don't do anything. Later on in the Catacombs, they shoot spikes out that hurt you. So it's done the opposite. It's conditioned you to think these things are safe, when actually then it changes the rules, and it feels a bit of a dick move the first time that happens. So after that, you're wary of all statues in the game. So when I went to Sen's Fortress on my second playthrough, I was like, shit, statues everywhere. But they don't actually hurt you in there. So it's a little bit of a dick move there.
You'll probably be told to bring a divine weapon here to deal with the skeletons, but you really don't need to. I only did the first time.
You can take a fire weapon.
If you want to take it slow, you need to take a divine weapon. If you're happy with taking it fast, just go and kill the necromancers, and you have the same effect on them.
Yeah, once I knew about the necromancers, I'd just run past all the skeletons until I could find the necromancer. Chase him down.
Yohargul in Bloodborne needed an equivalent of divine weapons. That would have made it a lot more stomachable.
So ultimately, this is going to be one of Happy's favourite areas in the game, purely because it's full of skeletons.
So we talked last time about how skeletons are actually badass in this game, while they're kind of generic, mobs in the others. And here, once you are strong enough that skeletons are just normal mobs, they change it up and they add more skeletons, and you got giant skeletons now. You got wheel skeletons. And,
you got those big dog-looking skeletons.
Weird tower skeletons.
Never since Castlevania have we had such good skeletons.
Yeah, Castlevania and Souls are like the twin eagle of great skeletons. But if you go down here before beating Ornstein as well, which I think Specs did, right?
Yes, I did come all the way down to the bottom with no light, because I didn't realize I had a lantern, or didn't know about the lanterns. Didn't find a lantern because the necromancers don't necessarily drop them. There is one down where you fight the princess guards down in the Tomb of the Giants. That is a guaranteed, like, it's just lying on the ground, but you may not necessarily find that. I went all the way down without any sort of light.
Go here after Izalith, that way you'll just have light anyway. But you can meet Patches here, which I only did in my 4th playthrough. Like, I always meet him down in Tomb of the Giants, but it's the only time I meet him here. And he tries to fuck you over, much like it in Demon Souls. He's called Trusty Patches in this one, which, like, in Demon Souls he was called Patches. Him. In Demon Souls he was called Patches the Hyena, which, you get because he's a scumbag, but here he's... Here he has a more ironic name.
Trusty Patches.
Patches allows you to negate full damage by kicking you into a hole that you wanted to go down into.
Yeah.
Patches the spider in Bloodborne, and then Unbreakable Patches.
The Unbreakable.
Unbreakable Patches.
You'll also meet a blacksmith here if you take a certain way, and he's a dwarf skeleton with weird beard thing, he's a skeleton, and his dialogue is recorded at a super low bitrate. So
what's that then? Need some smithing? Then produce me some wares.
He's got, is it his mask, or does he have tentacles on his face as well? He's got I think it's his mask, but it's got flappy tentacle-y looking things.
I think it's supposed to be a beard because he's supposed to be a dwarf, but I don't know.
But it's made of steel or iron. Also, for a dwarf, he's very large.
Yeah, it does just look like they're just kind of bony protrusions from his face.
Yeah, it's got they're like vertebrae almost. When I came down here on my second run through, I went completely the wrong way out of his room, and then got ganked by everything.
Yeah, the wheel skeletons are waiting outside. They're gonna get you.
Yes, they are. And they don't like you. They don't like anyone.
There's that Black Knight as well.
Oh god.
Yeah, one of the meaner traps in this game is
The axe one, isn't it?
a necromancer and 2 archers shooting at you from across the corridor. And when you approach them, a Black Knight comes out and kicks your ass. It's really mean.
He's got the upward swing attack that launches you to the moon as well.
Yep. He doesn't give a fuck.
He absolutely it hurts you on the way up, and when you land, you take falling damage.
Yeah. On in the Catacombs itself, though, this is also where you can join the Grave Lords.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
And
you
they
rest in the
specifically
can join
you nestle into the coffin, which is one of those translation quirks that I just like.
And then you just have to wait for like 30 seconds for something to happen.
One of those things where it's like, is this doing anything? Really?
Yeah.
There's quite a few of those in Dark Souls, in fairness. Like the pretending to be an egg, and that are pretty much the main ones.
The Witch's Ring is a bit like that as well. It's just like, I got this ring. What does it do? Best wear it all the time.
Gravelord Servant is one of the more abstract covenants in this game. What is it, like you send strong enemies to free other people's worlds? Or I've never used it, so...
It only works on people who are in New Game Plus. It takes, like, I think 7 or 8 people at random from the server you're on. Anyone in New Game Plus has their world infected with Black Phantom enemies. Anyone who's in New Game doesn't really see any effect. Any of them can invade you if they can find your sign, which is essentially where you are in the world, and then try to invade you and kill you. If they kill you, then everyone who is infected is restored to normal.
Even though you can't, it doesn't happen to you in New Game Plus, it will still say, invasions have ceased after the death of the Gravelord servants.
Yeah.
Which, that confused the shit out of me.
That meant that you were infected, but you wouldn't have seen it, because if you're playing New Game and not New Game Plus, you don't see any effect at all.
Approaching Pinwheel, another classic message spot, weakness anywhere. He's pretty pathetic.
My first run through, I got to the bottom of the bottom of this area where Pinwheel is, and the first time I saw him, I was like, "Nope, I'm not fighting that. I'm too beat up for a boss at this
really
point.
Fucking
I'm
easy.
Going back." Yeah, then I went back, sort of after resting at a bonfire and leveling up a bit and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, I just hit him twice and he's dead. Okay."
Well,
one of the coolest looking bosses, and then just a total letdown with how much of a pushover he is.
You're supposed to fight him really early, but you don't want to go down there really early, because getting back up is a fucking struggle. So why would you do it that early? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the clerics talk about, like, go to the Catacombs to find the Kindling, which is good.
Yes, it is very good, and it's very useful to have that early on. But at the same time, you're not going to go down there. Especially when you know what you're doing, you're not going to go down there, because getting back up is annoying.
Yeah, again, it's another place where it would be nice to just be able to walk back to Firelink.
Yeah.
Because...
It would have been nice to have like a shortcut to get back up to Firelink from there, essentially. And that would have made it a lot more fun later on, because you wouldn't have to go down after getting the Lordvessel. You'd be like, okay, well, I can take this shortcut down to the Catacombs and go straight to the tomb.
Yeah, that would be a really good...
I can't remember, can you actually teleport to Pinwheel's bonfire?
No. Pinwheel has no bonfire.
You can teleport to Gravelord Nito's Covenant bonfire.
And that's it, isn't it? Because you can teleport to Covenants and a couple of others, but that's about it.
This is the only place in the game where there's also developer messages other than the tutorial area.
Yeah.
So there's one just after you fight Pinwheel that says shortcut ahead to tell you how to get back up from the Pinwheel fight area.
Anyway, let's talk about the boss himself. I mean, he is really easy, but the scene when you meet him is amazing. Like, the heads look at each other. Like, what do we do?
Like, what's this guy doing here? I didn't expect this.
Nito, I just want one skeleton.
And
please, no!
And I love the music. It's very Demon Souls. Like,
yeah.
Demon
It's
Souls.
a very Demon Souls boss.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Yeah, it reminds me of the full title. Dark Souls music is all like bombastic and choral, but Demon Souls has this weird kind of like laid back, strange fight music, and this is a lot like that.
Yeah, it's that fucking harpsichord.
Oh yeah. Too bad you're only gonna hear the first 10 seconds of the fight. If he had a little more health, I think this would have been a really good boss.
Yeah, he's got a couple of ranged attacks, doesn't he? He sort of shoots fireballs or energy balls at you, and he splits into 3, and you've got to kill the right one. Is that? I've beaten him so quickly that I don't know how his fight actually works.
Yeah, he splits into 3. The Japanese name for this guy is something like 3 people riding piggyback on each other, which is what the boss looks like.
That's what he is.
If you pay attention to him.
If you look at
people have drawn that like cross section that shows
that's an official kind of concept art for him, I think, isn't it?
I think it's in the design works, yeah.
And then you get a random mask.
Yes.
And
pissing off
on
absolutely
which
everybody.
Mask you get, you can sort of have something useful or something crap. So Mask of the Father is what I got on my first run, which was
is the good one
because it made me able to carry more stuff.
Mask of the Mother is the one that people don't really like. Mask of the Child is extra stamina. That's the one people are kind of like, yeah, well, that's alright, I guess.
The masks are basically like putting a ring on your head instead of a helmet. Like,
yeah.
Sacrifice helmet defense in order for like an extra effect. But yeah, you want the Father. I don't even remember what the others do.
What does the Mother do?
Mother gives you extra HP.
That's the one I got on my second playthrough.
Child gives you more stamina, which is a lot of people like that one. Because more stamina is good.
Yeah, Tomb of the Giants. If you're lucky, you'll get a lantern from a necromancer, or have a sunlight maggot to light
sunlight
up.
Maggot
Otherwise,
is
you're
what
gonna
I
have
used
trouble.
on my first playthrough. I wore that on my head all the way down.
Yep.
The lanterns. The lantern is just a skull that you hold by the beard, which is pretty funny. But the item description calls this area Nido's light devouring domain of death, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah. No, like, and I this is another example of like part of the game where it goes almost just like full on into like survival horror.
Yeah.
This area has a more well-realized gimmick than some of the other areas, because, fucking scary-ass fucking skeletons in the dark.
Also, you can't have your shield in this area.
Unless you take the...
There's also an ember down here. I can't remember where it is, because I got it on my first playthrough and not on my
It's
second.
so hard to find. I mean, it's so hard
You have to
get.
go into the giant coffin, and you have to fight all the little shits that are in there.
Oh, the
and
big
there's some
shits.
giant,
All the big
there's some
shits.
giant, like you can't climb down the ladder because there's 3 giant skeletons that will just gank you.
Yep.
So the way I did it was I jumped off the ledge towards the ember, grabbed it, and homeward boned out, or just died. I can't remember. I might have just died and said fuck it, have my souls. I don't care anymore.
I pulled it off once in like all my playthroughs. It's so hard because if you'll dive attack one, but then the rest will gang up on you.
There's no way to attack them if you're certain builds either. Like as a sorcerer, it's probably fine because you can ranged attack them. But pyromancy, the arc of your throw of your fireballs will not necessarily hit them. Bow maybe, but if that depends on whether you brought arrows with you. It's quite a difficult area to actually kill the stuff in before going down. And if you do go down, you're just going to get slaughtered.
You'll find if you didn't meet Patches upstairs, you'll find him here. He'll kick you down the hole. If you didn't meet Patches upstairs, you'll find him here. He'll kick you down the hole. That's how you get the lantern for the most part, because it's a guaranteed drop.
Yep, and you'll also meet the white maiden, white lady, Covenant of White.
Yeah,
White,
the
someone
great
tell
white
me what she's called.
lady.
No, not Astrea. That's Demon Souls.
Anastasia.
Anastasia of Astora, and her bodyguards Vince and Nico, which is weird for like a medieval game to have guys named Vince and Nico. It's like
they're foreign.
You wouldn't, but. Nobody else in Astora is named that.
Yes.
Like, that's like Bobby of Kareem, or like I don't know.
We got Oscar.
Oscar's that's an old name though. Like I can see a knight being named that. I can't see a knight being named Ned. Like that's the category of names these guys have. But they're hollow, and
this is Jim of Oolacile.
Jim of
Oolacile. Yeah,
that does get into like Dark Souls 2 territory. The
Josh of Katarina. Yeah, rescuing her will will make her go back up to the Undead Parish, to where the Firekeeper's dead body was. And eventually, Petrus of Forland will come and kill her, because he was actually a hitman sent to kill her.
I thought it was because he was ashamed at the fact that he didn't protect her, that he ran away. He basically had to get rid of the evidence.
No, he's actually an incel. And so he's just like so mad at all of these people who, even though he's like a super nice guy and he joined the Way of White, she's not giving it up for him, and so he's super mad, jealous of those two Chads who take her down to fulfill her quest.
I believe that he came to kill her to begin with.
If you talk to Lautrec about him, because Lautrec will talk about him, Lautrec will say, "Don't trust that guy. He's a wrong un." So
they could smell
takes
their
one
own.
to know one.
Yeah,
he's had bad intentions all along. From the
Lautrec,
I guess
Lautrec also fucking hates patches, which I find funny.
Yeah. But like, so I guess this is also just my fucking reading of the game, just because of the sheer amount of sexual imagery. I can't help but immediately like look at Thorland with his dorky haircut, and just immediately go, no, it's sexual frustration. Yeah. He's in a religious order too. Huh.
He's got that bowl cut.
Yeah.
Does, and he's a bit portly as well.
Yeah,
he's,
you know,
he's not
like,
the most attractive man, is he?
His hair isn't blonde; it's like piss yellow. But like that's like all the blonde characters too in the game.
Yeah. And then once she's back up as well, she hangs around for a bit and sells you the best cleric spells, and then gets abducted and taken to the Duke's archives.
No, Petrus kills her. A lot of other women get taken by Sifin.
If you kill Petrus, though, she still disappears.
Oh,
and is taken
okay, I
to
didn't
the
know
Duke's
that.
archives. That's why if you go to the Duke's archives, you find her clothes on a dead body in the cells.
And yeah, speaking of like weird sexual kind of things, yeah, Seath is pretty pervy.
He's basically the Ice King, except in like a dark fantasy.
Yeah.
Like hangs out in his ice cave and is a big nerd
In his
and
crystal cave.
and he loves princesses.
There's a couple of more things. There's Paladin Leroy.
Drops a unique sword and shield.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes. He was
And then
the
you can find
first
his armor after you kill him.
undead priest or something, wasn't he?
The first undead of the Way of the White.
Yes.
And so they gave him his sanctified armor, shield, and fuck off massive mace. He's a big, I can't remember his name, protector of the boss of Valley Defilement. Galvinland.
Oh yeah,
It's a big Galvinland reference.
that's a fantastic boss. Like it's not really a boss, but it's so cool narratively.
He's the boss, she really isn't.
Yeah.
Although if you stand next to her and wait for a little while, she does eventually, like, Wrath of the Gods you.
Outside of Nito's house, outside of Nito's lair, there's a bunch of pinwheels hanging around.
Yep.
Which is
Yeah.
weird because like Pinwheel, like in the narrative, Pinwheel stole the kindling from Nito and ran away, and they're enemies. So it's weird that there were more pinwheels outside of Nito's store.
Yeah, I found that strange as well. I guess it's just they didn't have time to put something more interesting in there, maybe.
Also,
I don't know.
there's
those
baby skeletons. Were
Yeah, baby
the
skeletons.
best place to farm humanity if you need to do that. But
And there is the divine. There's like the green, like one of the upgrade materials is in that area with all the pinwheels.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Nito, really easy for a caster, pretty tough for a melee fighter.
Really easy for a melee fighter with a blessed weapon.
What's gonna happen is you will probably land, and then Nito will immediately do his sword out of the ground attack.
Yeah. Especially since you're probably popping an Estus from the fact that you just took a shit load of falling
Whooping 10
damage.
vitality.
Whooping 10 vitality. What's that noise? Yeah.
Take a sippy!
I found him a bit tricky actually as a spellcaster. This is the only lord that I didn't beat on my first run through. I never finished. I got to Nito and was like, "Oh, I'll come back and do this later," and then never did.
Yep.
Because I just couldn't get close to him. He's got a lot of additional enemies around him. He's got a lot of
He's
big
surrounded
skeletons,
by 7
little
skeletons.
What I didn't know at the time, which someone told me while I was playing it through again, I think it was Fishheads was watching while I was doing this section, told me just like if you kite him for a bit, he will kill all of his skeletons with like a big blast attack.
He does the big blast.
And
although it
that's
doesn't
your
actually
opening.
kill them, unfortunately.
That's your in. He's got a weird grab attack as well that doesn't really do much damage.
Yeah, it's just there to frustrate you. I mean, ultimately, a lot of what he is about is frustrating you while his skeletons fuck you over. And anything that takes time while his skeletons come back to life again is a win for him.
Yeah, good luck. I'm behind 7,000 skeletons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I also am 7,000 skeletons.
Yeah. This was one of the most disappointing things about Nito, which is what his just appearance in the intro cinematic has the dinkiest, like, stupidest looking fucking animation.
Wah!
And just like holding up his like little ass arms and his huge scythe, like he looks so like fucking awkward.
It's funny how you can approach Nito from a Covenant perspective, and he'll be like, "Yeah, that's fine. Be in my chamber. Sit down. We'll drink some tea out of skulls, whatever." And then you drop down from the ceiling, and he's like, "No." He's cool though. It's a nice design.
Nito's a good guy.
He's made of many skeletons.
He's a bit selfish with his skeletons. He doesn't want anyone else to have them. But other than that,
well, he's the first.
He is death, really, in the like universe. Isn't he the embodiment of death? Like we have the Grim Reaper. He is the Grim Reaper.
Well, if he is, he's fucking failing because he's not really doing very well.
Well, that's the thing. He's having a nap, isn't he? So that's why the undead are about.
Yeah, Nito.
He's not reaping their souls.
Well, yeah, because he can't. Because this is again part of what fucks this whole thing up. Like the souls that people gathered from the flame. This is metaphysical kind of theory, but those are kind of these pillars of the universe. So with Nito being like the Lord of Death, well, when the flame starts to burn out, then yeah, the rules regarding death start to like not make sense and break down, like in the same way that like the sun, which Gwyn was the Lord of, which kind of gives life and allows the world to change and stuff. Like Gwyn's not there anymore, he's hollowed, so yeah, the sun is just like a fucking projection, and it's perpetually like afternoon or evening.
I mean, like, Nito can't really do his job anymore, so he just hangs around. He's very passive.
And everyone's trying to steal his fucking power.
Yeah.
Kindling is his thing. Kindling is his thing.
He could have just gone, like, Pinwheel's not that far away. He could have just gone up. His skeleton.
Well, I think it's the point is that all the Way of the White people are stealing it as well.
That's true.
Well, yeah, because they're paladins, and they're just kind of doing their paladin purposes. Like, what do paladins do? They fight undead.
And they kindle the flame. That's their purpose. The Way of the White wants.
Yep.
Well,
the Way of the White is I think it was like the Way of the White's god essentially is supposed to be Gwyn.
Yep. They worship Gwyn, and they want to kindle the flames to increase his power. So we've beaten Nito, and we're heading to the Duke's archives, I guess.
To further the Castlevania metaphor, we beat death. Now we're off to see Dracula.
Yep. Yeah. Just before we move on, though, actually, you can see Lost Izalith, or the Demon Ruins, from the Tomb of the Giants, and you can see the Ash Lake from
Yes, you can.
Those would have been very good areas to connect that area to, because of that, and give you a way out if you couldn't teleport. Or, like, a back way into Izalith that wasn't so stupid.
Too difficult.
A way into Ash Lake that, wasn't so hidden, potentially.
Yeah. Though I do like Ash Lake as something super, super creepy and like hidden, like there's like a kind of mystical awe to it that I think is cool.
Yeah.
All right, so off to
Duke's archives.
Seath's man cave and his volumes and volumes of hentai.
There's a bunch of crystal boars running at you. The first thing that happens.
You got to spit roast a couple of boars.
But
this
is your chance to get that awesome head if you didn't.
They
get
have
the
their
first time.
asses covered this time, so you can't stick your sword in the pooper.
Yeah.
But they can't aggro beyond the corridor that they're in, so you can just stand outside.
You go in and you start fighting hollows they have the same movesets from the beginning of the game, but they're crystals. They're really strong.
Yeah, they are ridiculously strong. And then behind them there are the channelers, and there's lots of channelers now. And the buffs that they cast on the crystal hollows make them absolutely ridiculous.
They're strong. And you'll run into Seif like almost right away.
Yeah.
He's
There's
very
only one
early
path
on.
you can take through the first bit of the archives that you get to, and it makes you run into Seif.
Here, though. You can
There is,
skip it if you roll off a specific ledge. I think just as the elevator's going up or down, you can roll off the elevator to skip a lot of this. But you're supposed to fight Seif and then just die.
And there will be messages outside his door saying "need ring," referring to the ring of sacrifice, but you have no idea of doing that.
This is the only part that I really didn't like.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool though. It's like they found a way to do the you got captured thing.
I get that, but at the same time, I don't like that it forces you to die.
Yeah, if you're getting captured, why not actually capture you instead of kill you and then respawn you at a bonfire? They could have had you knocked out from an attack that Seif did, and then have a section, I don't know, you see yourself being dragged into a cell.
Or like Bloodborne, where effectively you die, but you got killed by those sack guys.
I mean, technically this is the game breaking its own rules in a way, because you don't respawn at the same bonfire that you left. But when I played this the first time, I went wild because I was like, holy shit, Seif moved my bonfire into a prison cell. That's genius. I don't know if that's what I actually did, but I think that's... I like to think that, because that makes it really cool.
Or because he is so, incredibly powerful with, magic, he can just do that.
Because he can. I mean, fuck, he's an eternal dragon. He's probably fucking old by this point.
Well, no, he doesn't have the scales of immortality, and he went crazy.
But he's the same species, though.
He has the crystal keeping him alive inside. I guess he's more of a lich than a Dracula.
Yeah, he is. He is more of a lich, I guess, isn't he?
Yeah. Here is where you have the conclusion to Big Hat Logan's storyline.
He goes fucking insane and gets his underpants.
He does.
So yeah, you have to buy his spells, all of his spells, which is a lot of money.
It is. Yeah.
No one except the sorcerer will do this quest, but and his dialogue as you buy his spells and he starts losing his mind is pretty crazy.
Oh, there you are. It's been a while. Or were you just here? This fascinating place defeats my sense of time.
He sort of tells you to stop bothering him because he must attend to his studies and things like that. He gets very frustrated at you.
He forgets who you are eventually.
Yeah.
And finally he gets naked except for his huge hat. And he attacks you with Seif's ultimate crystal spell, which you can get yourself. You need 50 intelligence, and it has a huge charge up time, so it's not very versatile, but it's really strong.
So the reason that he keeps the hat on, and this is I think from one of the interviews, is that if he didn't keep the hat on, you wouldn't know who it was.
Oh,
that's the only reason he keeps the hat on. Is
that makes
because
sense.
Otherwise you wouldn't know
That's
that it's Logan.
When I fought the Crestfallen Warrior the first time down in the new Londo Ruins, he ran at me and I threw a fireball at him and he rolled off a bridge and died, and I didn't even know it was him until I got back to Firelink and I was like, wait, where is he?
Oh, he's gone!
Oh, was that him I fought down there?
That's such a perfect way for Crestfallen to die, honestly.
He just rolled off a ledge and killed him.
I'm fucking ready, let's do this.
This is where you encounter the Pisaku.
Yeah.
And there's another classic D&D enemy. They are Grix.
Is this those tentacle things?
Yes, this is what happens when Seif kidnaps Princess. This is the result. They turn into weird
and they drop humanity, and you can ring a bell and tell them it's time for dinner.
Yeah, and then the lizard men run up the stairs to get away, which
really,
is
really fast as well. It looks really fucking goofy.
That's so awesome.
If you beat them up the ladder, then you can just push them off the ladder as well, which is funny. But yeah, these things are really weak. They're really weak, and if the bell is not ringing or the horn or whatever it is that they ring, then you can just kill them before they aggro to you, because like they only aggro when you attack them. There's a big pile of debris in the middle of this room as well.
Yeah, it's like clockwork. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, what's going on there?
He's doing his thing.
Yeah,
And two of the Pisakas are non-hostile, and if you kill them, they drop. They drop
Guinevere's miracles.
There's like,
I think they're supposed to be our handmaidens or something.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Thief. I know she left you, but
yeah. I think part of like Seath's, I like the appeal of that character is just that he is like the shit dragon. He is like the complete fucking loser dragon.
But anyway,
after fighting a bunch of channelers, you'll end up outside, and like you go out the back door of the archives, and you'll see Sigmar's daughter encased in a crystal golem.
Yeah,
and I think any player would assume that this is Sigmar and he's in trouble again, but
it's not.
Sieglind.
And again, this is how Seath is capturing his women. He's getting them in crystals.
Yeah, Sieglind was about to be a
channelers are grabbing them.
And there's a crystal golem that's guarding the lady from Oolacile as well.
Yeah, Dusk.
Yeah, that one's way over in the Basin, but yes.
Yeah, but that's where he sent some of his golems down there, because he's got lots of them down there. Because he can. Why not? Lock him up in crystal.
Well, that was one of the theories as to why as to why Havel was locked up. Like, he knew something about how like fucking perverted Seath was, and so he got locked up.
He found my stash.
He found his stash, and then then that area, unless you're getting to it from Undead Burg, is guarded by a bunch of crystal golems.
Yep.
Well, the secret basement room that has all his items in it, like, it also has an occult club.
He was trying to kill some gods.
He was trying. Yeah, he was out. He was after somebody's blood.
But yeah,
if he was after
like
Seath,
if somebody,
then it wouldn't be Seath, because he'd have a lightning weapon if that were the case.
Yeah, and the other thing would be like, if someone finds out, if like one of the gods finds out, like, I have an occult weapon for that.
No one must know my secret.
But it
gets up to some dirty shit.
Inside a mimic as well.
Which
I guess
isn't it?
Because it's guarded so that nobody can get
guarded
to
by
it.
an illusory wall in Anor Londo at the bottom of a secret room inside a mimic. Great.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic. Well guarded. 10 out of 10.
The Crystal Cave is like, it's a really cool looking area.
One of the prettiest areas in the game.
Like, it's like the primordial crystal that Seath has, it creates more crystal around it.
Yeah.
I guess the thing. And so he just hid it in some cave, and eventually the whole cave is turned into a crystal cave.
Most of which are completely invisible.
Why? Yeah. Why have we got an invisible floor in here?
Because we needed a gimmick for the level. And that was perfect.
But why is it invisible? What's the law?
Because it's invisible. It's refracting light. There you go. Seath is doing it because he doesn't want anyone coming down to his primordial crystal.
And also,
so he's hiding it.
Seath doesn't need to walk down into the cave because he flies.
Somehow he flies, yeah. It's not entirely explained how his pitiful little wings get his slug-ass body all the way to the top, but... or the bottom, I guess.
I'm guessing there was...
He teleports. You also have clams in here.
Yeah, the clams are in there. Cursed clams.
That, he took them with him from Ash Lake as like a,
You must have used to live in Ash Lake.
Because we were talking about that. Like are the clams have some association with the dragons and the
clams
crystals?
Are like dragon crabs. It's like an STD he got.
And once again, there's the curse thing, which sees
him and his perverted ways. I guess he needs like curse cure every so often, maybe.
That
I guess could be the other solution, is that it's just a gameplay thing to provide you with an enemy that drops curse stones.
Yeah, there's that.
I don't know. I like that. Like maybe Seath brought some clams from back home.
Yeah, for nostalgia.
Before they burned down every single tree, it was like, I'm gonna get some of these clams out, guys. They taste really good in soup.
Save
Seriously,
the animals,
guys.
Yeah, tastes like anti-curse.
Yeah, Seath's boss arena does something that tons of later Dark Souls and Bloodborne boss arenas do, which is there's no fog wall. You go in, and then the boss comes in after you.
Yes.
And if
very
you die,
irritating.
then there's a fog wall.
Very irritating because if you don't know, clams can follow you in on the first time
you
you
have to
go
fight
in.
Seath and
This is not fun. This is anti-fun, in fact, I would go as far as to say. Almost as anti-fun as trying to cut his tail, which is incredibly frustrating.
There's a very small zone you can...
It's a very small zone, and it clips into the wall every so often.
And he hits you with his tail.
And he hits you with it.
When I did my melee build run, my melee pyromancer, I tried to stay behind him because I thought I'd be safer. I didn't have much like curse resist, so I got whipped by his tail a lot. When I beat him on my first run, I turned to stone as I killed him.
Oh dear.
So I had to go all the way back down. But what I love about this arena is when you first walk into it, if you were playing at the time when the game was first out and it was really, like, your servers were really populated, there are so many statues of people that have been frozen.
In the way.
Yeah.
And then when he comes in, he just crushes them all. Because he drops down onto them.
Poor guys. And there are lots of messages by the crystal, which is always fun.
Yeah, it's cool.
You crush his crystal, mate. He's not happy.
Again, it's that curse thing that's going on though. Like, it feels a little bit unfair that you're gonna get absolutely shanked.
At least this time.
It's the only other time it shows up, and there's like a bunch of curse cures outside of it.
It's nice that there's curse cures outside. That makes it okay.
I do like it's one of those times in Dark Souls where it's like, oh, you thought that, like, the worst thing that could happen to you is that you just die and come back.
No. We've got far more creative things to do for you. It's like, False King Alant in Demon Souls, where, oh, shit, you didn't realise, I'm gonna level you down. That's what's gonna happen here. I ain't just gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna level you down, and it's not gonna kill you, so I can do it again. Right.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking brutal. But yeah, Seath, good boss fight.
I like it for the most part.
Yeah. Just
there's
once
you
can get like pretty accustomed to the rhythm without dying, and I think that's a good like sort of like litmus test.
It's very pretty as
like,
well. It's a very pretty boss fight, which helps. What doesn't really make sense is that you can quite easily, very, very easily, get him to destroy his own crystal, which flinches him for a very, very long time. But it doesn't really make any sense because he'd be incredibly careful around it.
We're pretty much there, so let's just do Artorias of the Abyss.
Yeah, so getting here is really obtuse. I don't know why I have to, like, jump through so many hoops to get the content that I paid for, but anyway.
that was absurd. But again, like, I guess... no, there's no even way you could do it with, like, the hint system.
They want to point out that it's end-game content, not, like, mid-game or early-game content.
You can miss it, though. If you go and fight Gwyn, then you're like, wait, hold on, now I can't do the DLC.
Now I have to wait till New Game Plus,
again.
I said end-game, not, like, the end of the game.
I actually don't like that All Souls DLC is meant to be done right before you beat the final boss, because you don't get a chance to use all the cool stuff you find.
That's not entirely true. Bloodborne was designed to be done mid-game.
What?
It overlevels you for the final boss.
The weird thing about Bloodborne's DLC is that despite the fact that Ludwig has an incredibly fucking gigantic health pool, you are supposed to do him, like, mid-game.
Right off the bat, there's a boss fight in this.
Yep, come here,
yep.
eat shit,
and it absolutely destroys you. I think it's the hardest boss fight in this.
No, the hardest boss fight is the bonus one where you fight two of them.
Yes it is.
No, Calamit's harder than him.
Calamite is okay.
Calamit's not too bad.
Calamite's only really difficult if you insist on cutting his tail, because cutting his tail is retarded.
I only did the DLC as a sorcerer, so maybe it's a bit different depending on which build you're playing, but I found this one probably the hardest.
Yeah,
it's tough. The Chimera is tough. It just is. The Guardian, I think it's cool.
It's a but it's a fun fucking fight. And
it's a good fight.
Also just like a straight like mythological callback.
It's straight fantasy. It's aggressive.
No, it's literally Greek mythology.
It's fun. It's fun. I like it.
It's a good fight. One thing that I like is that it places you in some water as well.
Oh god,
so
and he has the lightning.
Forced to wear a ring to be able to move around, and also the fact that it's just like, oh, you wanna play that DLC that you paid for? You know, you got all excited
Prepare
for
to
this
die,
coming out, didn't you? You're like,
because they released it at around the same time that they released it on the PC as the Prepare to Die version.
They did,
yeah.
So... And then you're just like, but I want to access my DLC. You gotta come get the DLC.
This is the fucking content. This is what you paid for.
Eat shit and take it.
Are you not amused?
Yeah.
Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
The Oolacile, the actual, alright, so the Oolacile, like, you meet, you find out where the mushroom people come from.
Elizabeth is the best waifu.
But why did they turn into assholes who punch you?
Because they don't remember.
Because they don't have Elizabeth anymore to guide them.
Well, it's like Americans, you know? Like, you go to America, and they're super fucking friendly and, like, helpful, but then they go to a foreign country and they're just drunk assholes.
I can confirm.
I can say this because I'm American.
Elizabeth was talking about what's going on, and you kind of informs that you are not in a foreign place, you are in the past.
Yeah.
And that becomes clear as soon as you step out into the Royal Wood, which is just Darkroot. And
it's Darkroot, but not quite Darkroot.
Elizabeth's house was it's the same place where Artorias is later buried. Yes. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah. The flow of time in Lordran, of course.
Well, no, you've literally gone back in time here. This is not.
Yeah.
Manus has dragged you back
and there is, given the like how Sif reacts to you, there is some like, okay, you're impacting the past.
She tells you that Artorias failed in his mission, which, based on what you heard earlier in the game, can't be true. Yeah. And you find out that no, actually Artorias ate shit, and you are the one that sealed away the abyss.
Yeah, so it turns out maybe you were the Artorias that everyone thought had sort of sealed the abyss and things.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit unfair to Artorias because he is widely regarded by like everybody as the greatest swordsman who's ever lived, and the greatest of Gwyn's knights was Artorias.
But that's another like, again, in this kind of thing of like corruption and subverting expectations. Like, no, like even the greatest one, he got fucked. Like,
I think Elizabeth says something like he doesn't have doubt. He doesn't doubt himself. Something along those lines. I can't remember exactly what the line is.
He's sort of corrupted, though. He's not hollowed or anything. I guess hollowing wasn't even necessarily a thing yet.
No, it wasn't a thing.
No, he's not undead.
Yeah.
This is directly after Gwyn has gone to link the flame. I think they say. So it's like about 1,000 years, maybe slightly less than 1,000 years, before the rest of the game.
He's a good fight, though.
He's a great fight.
He's one of those fights that it feels very fair. It feels like you're fighting someone who is similar to your character, and therefore it makes for a good fight. It's like a test of skill. It's not got any gimmicks, really.
He can power up and make his sword strikes not do more damage, but take more stamina out of you blocking.
Yep.
Despite this, I had used the Soul of Sif to make Artorias' great shield, and I blocked it anyway.
Yep, yeah. Well, his shield was one of the best shields. So...
It is probably the best shield if you take the weight.
You can also stop him from powering up, which stuns him if you do it properly, which is what you're supposed to do. Like, when you see him powering up, especially if you've played other Dark Souls games, you'll go, shit, I can't attack him now, he's going to explode. But you are supposed to stop him from powering up.
Oh, you can do... Oh, I didn't know that.
You're supposed to just hit him until he goes out of it, and he stuns for a second.
I used his powering up as a free, like, I can get some soul spears in here. I had the soul mass. I just like bust a soul mass. Is
that where you take the opportunity to heal up before he goes fucking insane on you?
Yeah,
because that's when he starts leaping at you like a fucking maniac.
Yeah.
I fucking loved this fight just overall. Like this is what Dark Souls has fucked up before with like human style enemies.
Yeah.
but this was one where it was just like, yeah, no, this is just like an awesome fucking duel.
It is good. There is something to be said for it being kind of like a bad idea, though, on the basis that they then went and said, okay, well, this was the best part of Dark Souls 1. We'll try and make Dark Souls 2 like all humanoid things with swords and shields.
Yeah, and then it just gets a bit
And it
dull,
got very samey and quite boring at that point. But it was really good. If only because of the lead up to it. It's like, oh, it's Artorias! It's this great dude! And he's gonna fuck me.
You meet Magnificent Chester.
Marvelous Chester.
Marvelous Chester, sorry.
Who is dressed like the fat official.
Yes,
in,
he is.
Demon Souls.
Which immediately made me suspicious.
Well, his laugh also makes you suspicious.
Well, yeah,
once
there was
again.
that.
Did you really slay Knight Artorias? I'd heard the Abyss found him first, but even still, that's absolutely treacherous. Yes, magnificently so.
He's one of my favourite characters.
That and the fact that he then later goes on to invade you. Then you go back to talk to him and he just goes, yeah, what about it? Like, you'd do the same thing to me.
Yeah.
Like, you dick.
Hey, we're living
We're
that
all
dark
just
wraith.
trying to get along, guys.
We're
okay?
living that dark wraith life now.
We're just trying to stay alive, dude. It's not personal. But it is personal.
So
But he's come here from another time as well. So does that suggest maybe given he's in like Victorian fashion?
He's from Yarnum.
He's from Yarnum.
Yeah, he might be from Yarnum.
He's
or
from
he
the
might
age
just be
of
from the
deep
future
water.
of Dark Souls.
You can meet Yarn and go here. I don't know why Ornstein didn't come along.
Because he's too busy.
He's off killing dragons. Maybe.
No, the war's done.
Maybe this is
no,
the
but
stealthy
that's
thing
when
saying
he
that
already.
He's long gone. He's long gone.
Well, no, but that's when he already went off to go look for the fucking other one.
Yeah.
What?
When he went to go look for the Nameless King.
It says in Dark Souls 3 that he went off to look for the Nameless King. It doesn't say when he did that.
Which is, again, Dark Souls 3 kind of things, which is why the theory that, like, it's just a projection of him in Anor Londo.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only thing that makes sense then, because
they say Smo is the last...
the last knight. He was the last knight
defending.
to remain exposed.
That's the only thing that makes sense then, because, the 4 knights, the 3 knights now, they were sent to kill Calamite specifically, and they don't bring along dragons.
They don't bring along the specific one who was good at slaying dragons. Yeah,
anyway,
okay.
So Hawkeye goes
and they bring along
chilling.
a blind guy who can't fucking shoot anymore, although he can.
He
Evidently
can.
by the end he fucking can.
Hawkeye Go is awesome. And
he is.
I love that he's friends with the giant blacksmith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being the only giants who aren't complete assholes to you in the entire game.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Why does he makes those carvings and you can find carvings in this area? What do the carvings do?
I'm sorry.
You can drop them on the ground and they will say something, and it's meant for it's basically just a fun multiplayer thing.
So it's basically
it's voice chat, but with no voice chat. It's not an orange soapstone because you can't leave it for other people. While you're multiplayering with other people, you can say things like "hello" to them because there's no voice chat in Dark Souls.
Do they make noise?
They actually make the noise. Yeah, they make the noise.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry.
Very
good.
Very good. But when you kill someone in Dark Souls, you can totally it's a way of completely taunting the shit out of someone. Or if you're doing a duel, instead of bowing, you just drop hello.
Outstanding.
I didn't realize. That sounds fun.
It's great.
It's fucking hilarious. They had to have those in Dark Souls too. They were fucking awesome.
You have to fight Calamite before you
don't have to fight
Calamite at all. He is the super boss of the game.
To get Go to shoot Calamite, do you have to have already been down to the area where he spawns?
Yes. I believe he will only try and shoot him down if you go and tell him, look, this guy keeps flying over and roasting my ass. What can I do?
Which, again, is one of those situations where you might go in and go, oh, there's nothing I can do. I'm just going to die repeatedly here until you go and talk to him. You can always go trigger him, then homeward bone out. But
again, he is a completely optional secret super boss, essentially. You're not really supposed to realise, I guess. Goes back to that thing where from were quite happy to have stuff that you wouldn't be able to find, really.
Yeah, although he's not too off the beaten path, actually. He's fairly easy to find.
Like, yeah, you can accidentally get to him
Oh, you can
if
get
you're
to
trying
him,
to
but
progress.
you then have to realise that you need to go back and speak to Go, which is where the messages come in, where it's like, try Archer, try Hero, try Giant, try whatever.
Oh, are we talking about the Calamite fight?
I guess we can either do it now or at the end, considering he's supposed to be done at the end.
Calamite, he's pretty fucking hard. I actually never beat him.
One of the hardest bosses.
Yeah,
in the
me
game,
neither.
Easily. I've beaten him. I've cut his tail as well. Fuckhead.
I found him fairly easy.
He's not bad. His main problem that most people have with him is the move where he flies directly up and shoots flame down. Most people get caught by it because it's quite irritating.
Got a fairly. His range is always the same. So
yes.
It's fairly. I was a caster, obviously, so I could range most of his stuff. His attacks take a while, so you can get a chunky hit in, and you can just get a soul mass ready for when he's going to fly at you, dodge out of the way, and then do a load of damage.
A lot of it is just patience. You have to be really patient with him, especially if you want to cut the tail. He's got one attack where he leaves his tail in range of you if you're a melee character, and that's it. He slams the tail down on you, and it sticks in the ground for a couple of seconds. And that's it. That's the only opportunity you get to cut his tail. And it takes a while. So that's even worse. But most of his attacks are okay. I mean, he's got the telekinesis thing that applies the debuff, which is the worst debuff in the game. Holy fuck. Then you've got a couple of other ones, like his fire, which you can dodge. You can get close to him. He's not awful, but he is, like, really punishing. So...
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend it didn't take me a while to beat him,
yeah.
but I didn't think he was too much more difficult than other bosses in the area or towards the end of the game.
He's designed to be really punishing against melee characters, and he doesn't really have much of an answer to lots of ranged attacks. So... Which makes sense as to why Go is the one that brings him down, I suppose. And why no one else could. Because it says in his item descriptions, like, everyone was fucking afraid of Calamite, including all the guards. So, kind of makes sense that he would be taken down by the guy who's ranged attacks, and you all ranged attacks are good against him as well.
Coming back to Artorias' arena, Ciaran will be there now? Or
yes.
Or is it Ciaran?
Probably Kieran.
Kieran.
Kieran is the more usual pronunciation.
Artorias' girlfriend? I don't.
Unrequited love, I think.
Oh, okay.
Love on her part, but not on his.
She asks for his soul, and you're like, "No, I just ate it. Sorry."
Yeah,
just eat it in front of her.
Artorias only loves
battle.
battle.
In front of her.
But she'll ask for his soul, which you can.
Artorias loves Sif. It's quite clear.
If you eat his soul, then she just disappears.
She does.
Does she go anywhere? Or...
Nope. She just goes.
Okay.
She got no reason to stay around, so she goes. If you fight her and kill her, you can have her weapons, I think. No, if you give her the soul, what does she give you in return?
She gives you her weapons in return, I think. She gives you a gold and silver katana.
She gives you the gold and silver tracer, yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, really cool weapons, but you do kind of have to build for them, and you get them so late that...
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd need to be making a build the whole way.
She's a less good version of the Hunter of Hunters in Bloodborne, basically.
So, Kieran mentions that, well, she talks to you like, you are human and she isn't.
Yeah, she's one of the gods.
Yeah, but what is, because she's not
not big.
She's like shorter than you.
Yeah, I don't think that's particularly impactful, though. I guess it's like a race.
Are you sure you're not just floating off the ground?
That's true.
Shut up. Like, Artorias is, he's huge. Ornstein's pretty tall.
The difference between the gods and the humans is that one has a dark soul, so that's the humans, and the gods have the other souls. So...
Yeah, people
I guess
like
she's
the
got
whites...
like pieces of the other souls that came from the first plane. And
Yeah.
you guys have got dark souls,
Well,
so you're all
no,
filthy humans.
They're not human here, are they? Because does humanity exist yet at this point in time?
But it must do, because it was taken from... It's part of the fourth soul that came from the fire.
Yeah, humanity's been around. Well, humanity is around at this time. It's
also in the abyss, so it quite clearly exists down there. But the way I always viewed it was that the pygmy took it from the first flame, started splitting it into different pieces, and the pieces are humanity. And it just happens to be the one that doesn't run out of pieces for some reason, unlike all the others, which seem to.
Well, it gets split in like almost infinitely, but there's still also the primordial man though.
Yeah, and that's Manus. He's got the biggest piece of the Dark Soul.
He's got the biggest hand.
He's got the biggest hand.
He's called Manus.
Which is why he's called Hand. Which is why he's called.
His name is Hand.
The Hands of Fate.
His name is Hand.
So all the four
I have
knights,
a big hand.
All the four knights led their own, like, you know, I guess they all had their own specialities. Like, you know, Hawkeye he's in charge of all the archers, and Kieran, she was like the spy.
Yes, she's sort of an assassin.
I think that's pretty cool. Like, it doesn't come up in gameplay, but like I like that as like a narrative little background thing.
Yeah.
Then Ornstein, who's the last one?
Well, there's Artorias, Ornstein, Hawkeye, and
of course,
Kieran.
Artorias, yeah.
Artorias, Abyss, Ornstein Dragons, got the spy one, and then you got the archer. It's a balanced party.
Balanced party.
Weird that your archer is also your tank.
Your archer is... Well, no, he isn't, because Artorias is a tank.
Yeah.
Because Artorias is the one with the great shield, remember?
Yeah, well, yeah, he just has a broken arm when you fight him.
Yeah, he gave up his shield to protect Sif, which is why he's not there.
He throws... Artorias throws that body at you at the start of the fight. Can that hit you? Do you have to dodge that?
No, you don't. It's fine.
Oh, I think that would have been cool. I think I tried to dodge it anyway.
Yeah, most people do, I think, because it's coming towards me. It's coming straight for us!
What game is that the enemy just attacks from the cutscene into the gameplay? Is that Bayonetta?
Bayonetta.
I think we talked, because I played
Bayonetta is the one that does that.
It's pretty fun.
Once you get used to it, you just press dodge as soon as it ends, and you're fine. But before that, it's just, come on.
Like the exact moment that happens, there's that drill thing sort of flies at you, and it's like, nope. Dodging out of the way of that.
Going into Oolacile itself, pretty fucking hard. All the humans in here have been turned into giant weird bug heads.
There's not much to the area, really.
You can pick up the pendant here, which gives you an edge in the Manus battle. They have casters, they have melee guys, much like Duke's Archives.
Yeah.
There's this one really dickhead room right before the mini boss. There's a big room, lots of casters at one end of the hall, and then there's like ambushers waiting to attack you as you approach the casters.
Yeah, you've got to come down the stairs, don't you?
Oh, man.
Tons of guys.
You can also get one of their heads and put it on if you want to.
Yeah, really? I didn't know that. I don't think I found that.
Yep.
Yeah, you can, and
as
the item
usual.
description is like, this thing is grody and full of mucus. I don't know why you would put it on your head, but you can if you want.
The casters here are really strong as well. So there's that bit just before the bonfire when you enter the dank cave. You just got like 3 spellcasters, I think, all shooting at you. And even if you block, they do a lot of damage to hit on shield. So they're pretty tough.
Weird mini-boss in this area that's like a man tied to a pole that's swinging around a piece of cinder block by the pole. There's these awesome-looking humanity enemies.
Yeah, which and there's a callback to that in Dark Souls 3.
What? When?
It's in the last DLC.
Oh shit! I didn't even finish that. I didn't like it.
There's if you use Mimic in that big swamp, you can Mimic into one of those humanity sprites, and you need it to open a specific door.
Oh wow, that's cool. You will see the ghost, I guess, of Alvina the cat, and she will lead you towards an illusory wall that has a puppy.
Puppy
Sif protected by Artorias'
great shield.
Yeah.
And if you fight off them,
you can summon him for the Manus fight if you fight off all the humanity that's trying to eat him.
And going back to right before the boss room, you can actually see the boss and you can shoot him.
You can see his eyes glowing in the dark.
There's like
as with all bosses, you can interact with him there.
Does he do anything, or can you actually kill him from there?
He can't reach you. You can kill him.
I think if you can take damage away from something, it does take away from his health pool.
Yeah, but if you do the Manus fight straight up, even with Sif, it is for me at least, it was a really difficult fight.
Yeah, he is one of the most aggressive Souls bosses this side of Bloodborne.
He's actually a lot easier if you tank. So if you like go full shield, he's a lot better.
Yeah, I did beat him on my second try, I believe, on my super tank first character.
Most of his attacks
not so bad.
are quite like telegraphed, so they're not too bad to avoid. But then some of them, especially I think the grab attack, where he does like that attack string of sort of he just goes absolutely crazy.
Yeah, he does the combo which launches you in the middle of it, and you get hit by the last 3 hits when you're in midair.
So you'll generally get hit by it if you're not perfect with your dodges.
I mean, the thing is, if you block the first couple of hits, you can actually like circle round him while he's doing the rest of the combo and start whacking him. So it's not so bad. And you can hit his limb as it comes out at you and stuff, and it's not so bad there.
Yeah.
He's aggressive and he's a good fight, but he's not like massively difficult.
He's tougher than Gwyn.
He's tougher than Gwyn. That's only because you can parry Gwyn. If you don't parry Gwyn,
I don't know. I
much
think
worse.
Gwyn's fairly easy even without parrying him.
I feel like Gwyn wasn't meant to be a real challenge.
He's not
we'll get
supposed
to that.
to be, no.
Maybe not.
But yeah.
Beating Manus, you can rescue Dusk at this point.
She didn't really do anything though.
And if you do this and then fight Adult Sith, she'll have a different reaction to you, which we covered.
Yep.
I think Elizabeth has some dialogue after you do this.
Yeah, she thinks you're trying to romance her as well.
She basically says that since you are a time traveler, she's not gonna come out and say to anyone that it was you that beat Manus, and will just attribute it to Torius instead, which is why that legend kind of takes off.
Yeah. Many of the other mushrooms don't fucking remember.
It's kind of a dick move, honestly.
Is there any dialogue with Dusk after you've saved her from Manus?
I believe that she has one of those kind of minor, oh, you look familiar to me for some reason, but I can't place it. Conversations.
When you get back to the main game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
The thing I find weird about the DLC is that it just kind of ends. It's just over.
Yeah,
You kill all the bosses, and then it's like, oh, I'll just head back.
Well, I mean, what is there going to be? Like an elevator that goes through time, and it's like, oh shit, I'm at Firelink Shrine again.
Oh no, Dusk doesn't mention that you seem familiar. She thinks Artorias saved her.
Oh, okay.
It's just like once you're done with it, it's like, well, there's nothing left to do here. It just feels very like there's not any closure on the DLC.
I think that's intentional though, because essentially the base game without the DLC lets you fight 3 of the lords, and DLC is essentially okay, well, we didn't let you fight this guy previously, but here's the 4th Lord Soul that you didn't. It was mentioned in the intro but wasn't in the base game. It's kind of just an additional thing that you can do. As opposed to the DLC that comes out later on in the series, like Old Hunters and the Dark Souls 3 stuff, where there's credits at the end, because it's supposed to be like, okay, well, this is drawing a line under it, because it's slightly different.
I feel like the best Souls DLCs are this one and Old Hunters, because they're great combat challenges, but they also add to the story in a cool way.
I think
Dark Souls 3 does as well, but there are issues with that.
Dark Souls 3's DLCs are like an epilogue.
Yes.
Yeah. I think people like to sweep it under the rug, but Crown of the Old Iron King is really good too.
Oh, Dark Souls 2? I love all Dark Souls 2's DLCs.
Yeah, like those were like a return to form, and it like had like awesome shit about them that I feel like they didn't even capture in Dark Souls 3.
Fair warning, there are like 7 people to ready up before I need to start my race, and I've readied up, so in like a minute or so, it's probably going to start.
Alright, so
I really like the area where you fight Gwyn. It looks really cool from a distance.
The Kiln
is
really,
really nice. The whole Colosseum vibe from it, and everything is just ash.
And
it's really cool.
The music track is one of the winners.
The fight itself, just
pretty easy.
It's weird. It's like I actually fought him a lot of times. I kept dying because I was like, no, this is too easy. I want to fight him proper with like my sword and stuff. But but
you can just parry at that point, and it's trivial because these parry windows are so
parry
huge.
timing.
Well, you don't even need to. This is the thing, because his parry timings are very generous in comparison with the rest of the game. So...
I killed him with 3 crystal soul masses in the end.
He's a husk. That's all he is at this point.
That's all he needs.
He's a husk.
It is one of the like the one big last like subversive things that the game does.
Yeah.
Like you're building up to this big boss fight, like you step through another part where time
fucked himself.
You go through another part where time has kind of become unlinear.
Yeah, with all the knights kind of crossing over in front of you.
The knights crossing over in front of you, but also like the world is like barren. Like if it is the kiln of the first flame, it should be, somewhere. It should be underground. At least that's the perspective that you got. But there's a skybox.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like Dark Souls 3, where it's like, no, I'm either in a different place or I'm in a different time.
Yeah, the end of the Dark Souls 3 DLC, where you are at the end of time, like everything has converged towards that point. You've just got everything is now ash.
Yeah.
All that's left is you and the last guy, and that's it.
But yeah. So again, like Gwyn, kind of just hollow shell of himself, just like tried to light himself on fire and
succeeded
in prolonging this thing. But as Aldia says, it's like, yeah, but no matter what, a lie will remain a lie.
Yeah.
It's
like you can keep trying, but it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Right, but okay, so Koth is like, man, the Age of Dark is really cool. It's a human renaissance. Humans gonna get to do what they want. But then you play the DLC, and it's like, that's what Koth wants. Like he does not want to help you. So
Koth, that's what Koth is doing essentially.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's because you are the Dark Soul. Like bringing about the Age of Man is like attempting to collapse the universe, which you find out from Dark Souls 2 and 3. Like it doesn't work. Like there's something about the Age of Fire that still needs to be extinguished further.
Well, this is the thing, I guess, is that what you're doing is you're collecting all of those fragments of the original Lord Soul that it lost for some reason. We don't know why it lost it, why it ejected them into fucking whoever it was that picked it up, but it ejected them and it wants them back. And it's going to get them back at any cost. It doesn't matter. It's essentially a bit like Bloodborne, where you've got this eldritch thing in the background, and you can't understand it. You can't hope to understand it, but it wants something from you, and it's going to have it.
Now you're the Lord of Cinder. See how much fun that is.
Well, by the end of Dark Souls 3, it does nothing at that point.
It would have been nice if sort of you did New Game Plus after, or just started a new game after kindling the flame, and then your last character was Gwyn to fight.
That would be fun.
In the next one, that would be cool.
But it wouldn't be good, though. It would just be an NPC fight. It wouldn't be a regular boss battle.
In fairness, they do kind of cover
Gwyn's
that
kind of like that,
Dark Souls 3, though, don't they? So...
No Dark Souls 3 talk. Actually, we gave up on it long ago.
I know, we've given up on it. That's why I'm saying this. It's like they do that, pretty much.
There is a super secret ending for Dark Souls 3.
There's
that
4
involves
endings, isn't there?
romance.
Not really.
Yeah, it's romance. You get married.
You do as well. You do get married in that. Yeah. You're not wrong.
There's also a secret ending to Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, that's the one where you get all the crowns, isn't it? And then Aldia does his thing.
Yeah, and you have a secret boss battle with Aldia, and then you go beyond death, whatever that means.
And Bloodborne has a secret ending.
Yes.
But
Bloodborne has two... No, it has one secret ending.
This is the only one that doesn't, actually.
Well, technically the secret ending is that you can just leave.
Oh, I guess so.
The game doesn't tell you that. It doesn't give you any indication. In no other place in the game can you go through a fog door that you've gone through. If it's still up, it doesn't let you do it.
Now you control the fog door because you are the king of Cinder.
Well, this is kind of the neat thing, is that the whole game is about you doing what you're told because people tell you to do it, and you don't really think about it because it's a video game, and you don't do what I'm told. It's like the BioShock twist, but without explaining it to you, which makes it so much better.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about it, is that it doesn't patronize you by going, in case you didn't get it, by the way, you do what you're told when we say, would you kindly? just kind of spoiling
there
it
was
all
there
at
was a
that point.
nice there was a nice little thing in Spec Ops: The Line too, where it's just where you can just fire straight up into the air and scare people off instead of gunning down a bunch of innocent people.
It rewards you for kind of, I guess, for thinking outside the box, but for not doing as you're told.
Well, yeah, it's not even
you don't
thinking
have to do
outside
as
the
you're
box.
told. No one ever said that you have to do as you're told.
It's not even thinking outside the box. It's actually just like approaching something in a more realistic perspective. Like there is that kind of mindset you can get into in video games where it isn't like I'm just going out and exploring things and kind of doing things that make sense. Like I'm like role playing in some way.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I got pointed to an objective and I'm going to do.
I'm just going to do as I'm told because it's a video game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And times where they can subvert that it's always good. I it's interesting.
And that's Dark Souls.
Final thoughts. Dark Souls, instant classic.
Yep.
Instant classic.
Worth playing if you haven't, and definitely just worth playing again. Like I played through that game probably like once every year or two.
It's a very, very replayable game.
Definitely. I was thinking
Which is
as
really
I was
good.
playing through this time, okay, I've never done a proper cleric build. At some point I will probably go back and do a cleric build. There's so many weapons with varied movesets. Like I found a set of Cestus. I want to do it again, being the Fist Man.
I want to play Simon Belmont with a whip.
Oh yeah, I do want to play.
It's
Simon
shit,
Belmont
by the way.
with a
Don't
whip.
do it.
It's terrible.
You'll
Don't
instantly
do it.
regret it.
Maybe I won't then.
Yeah, you can't backstab. It's a big problem.
I found I enjoyed the game a lot more my second time through though, because I knew how the game worked.
Yeah.
So I think that's maybe a problem with the game almost, because it's strange. I don't know how I'm going to feel about Dark Souls 2 playing it for the first time, because I don't know if I'll have this problem again of, well, I don't really know how stuff works, not understanding the systems, but hopefully Dark Souls 1 will have prepared me enough.
Your
that I
first
can
Souls
enjoy it.
game is the most important one because you learn so much from it, and none of them have that feeling of playing it for the first time again. You can't play a Souls game for the first time again.
That's true. I feel I'm better at action games in general after having played this game.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
If only because it forces you to get into better habits than other games allow you to get away with.
Yeah. Oh, managing health resources. Yeah, it's awesome. But
managing your health,
stamina.
managing your stamina, being patient, not just going, oh well, it doesn't matter because I've got health, I can cover this. But at the same time, it also teaches you, like, okay, well, I can memorize where the enemies are. I can. Oh god, we've started. Fuck.
All right, this is still probably the better
Only
time
like
to
2
call
seconds
it.
ago. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a good time to call it.
This
That
has
was
been Dark Souls.
This has been Gentlemen Discussing Dark Souls, the only podcast brought to you by 99% pure sausages.
Humanity.
99%
So now you
pure
got
humanity.
you got about 5.5 hours of stuff to just put on, so you need some noise in the background, maybe while you're playing Dark Souls. All right, I'll see you guys.
See you
Bye.
later.
I gotta finish this race.
Goodbye then. Be safe, friend. Don't you dare go hollow.